What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord, link for that in the description box down below.
Yeah.
And I'm ready. It's
Let's
been
go,
too
guys.
long.
Yeah.
Taking some extra time for you guys tonight here. We had to talk Dallas Cowboys,
Yeah.
especially with all the latest goings on. And I can't wait to jump into that with you, baby.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it all. You can see some of the things we're going to discuss here. Our fantastic kicker, our surprise running back, often injured but fantastic linebacker overshown, and George Pickens. That's got that tag hanging. We knew that already, but there's a little bit more to that now, especially recently. That's why I wanted to go live and talk about this. But we got a lot of things to talk about, as well as that clown show, Jerry, Stephen Jones, and of course, the combine. It's pretty much done, but that's for the draft, right? We got free agency coming up, so we'll talk about everything. But first, I got to shout out everybody who's repping here with us as the top spot on multiple sides of our board. Starting off with D-Link, which, by the way, hits the goal. We got 1 out of 20 down tonight. We'll see if we get all 20. Then D-Link and whoever else would be in a free raffle.
That's that in a second.
Yeah.
But huge shout out D-Link. I have a $5 holler saying, "What's up, MCF and MCW? Let's hope this offseason the Cowboys are aggressive in free agency." So, I mean, you tell me what you think you can expect from the Cowboys based on some of the things that we are going to talk about and moves they've already made, the signs, the wind,
And
the way that
again,
it's blowing.
free agency is not open until another week, 10 days or so. But we did some moves for ourselves, and we have some prospects, which I think to me is more important than even the draft stuff. The draft stuff will be determined a little bit more by the free agency moves. But
yeah, to me,
but the combine has a list of a real good pointer where we're going to go in this draft.
The draft part that I always just kind of have in the back of my mind is more that we have a little more capital to play around with since we have that extra pick, and we have, I'm just saying that, like, it changes the impact.
Yes, the first and the 12th, and in the first round, the 12th pick, and then Green Bay's pick for Micah there. It's the 20th pick in the first round. We got 2 first rounders. You could package them up, move up. You can get one guy, right? You can get Max Crosby. A lot of things that we can talk about here, but we're going to start with the reality stuff. We try to keep it real here, you know what I'm saying? And let's get it real with the guy representing the top of the spot here, the top of the board, the man for this quarter, J.D. Burton. Shout out to you, J.D. Burton. Old school OG right here. We've come back recently, so we appreciate him. You see him here at the bottom of the screen there, some sponsor of the quarter. Yes, J.D. Burton, who's been touching back up to that star level. So shout outs to him.
To mention, by the way, that D-Link with that drop actually took over as the stream boss, as you can see, because it was hanging on by thread.
2 points, and D-Link popped it up and took over the stream. He's the boss of the stream. D-Link representing it. Shout outs to you, brother. Appreciate you. Another OG, old schooler. Thank you. So, and again, that board will be updated over our heads there. It'll be updated throughout the stream, but definitely by the next stream. We always update it. So keep that in mind. Now, we also have other people to represent, not just the man J.D. Burton and the man D-Link, who's the stream boss, but also Skeptical Fan, who's the Cash App King for this quarter. Shout outs to him. And don't forget that gifting side. Gifting memberships. Awesome way to drop love and support the channel. Also help other people get some of the perks that we have here when it comes to being in the membership and other things. So check it out. In membership, you can gift memberships and stuff like that. And the gifting king is NDN Boogie, who's the gifting king of the quarter. Now, there is no leader on that side of the board, but we do have leaders on this side here. When it comes to Skeptical Fan, shout outs to him. He is not only the king, but the leader right now. I think with a little bit over 9 on it.
And speaking of Skeptical Fan, I think it's got to be a YouTube glitch or something with the stickers, because the other one showed up just fine, but Skeptical Fan did drop a $2 holler saying he's here and also go Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
But I swear we had this problem last stream too, where the super chat with the sticker also didn't show up or pop up.
That's weird.
So super weird there. Just pointing that out.
YouTube's gonna have some
But
issues.
thank you, skeptical fan.
Definitely some issues. And I'm gonna shout. We're gonna shout. The wife's gonna shout everybody out here in a minute. But I do want to finish. Skeptical fan.
Just wanted to make sure to shout him
Yes.
out because
Shout outs
you
to
obviously
him.
were shouting him out.
Appreciate him.
the
And
love.
yeah, he's the Cash App King, but also the leader so far this month. So, and I say this month really, this quarter. It's 3 months and off season. That's the way we're gonna roll. Just a couple streams a month until we get to, of course, to the draft and other major big moves. So again, as you can see, there's different ways of participating here and dropping the love. And oh, by the way, the overall leader right now for that sponsor of the quarter for this time around, it's actually Aussie in first place. Right behind him, though, is Mr. John Luna. So we'll see what happens there, and others that could catch up there, take that top spot. Now, there's a lot of perks for that as well. But let's first talk about the different ways of dropping the love here, I guess you can say. Or you know what? I'll do one better. How about we shout out those in the silver level, because we do that once every Friday, since we do these a lot less now. So we shout you out every time here with the star level, of course. Always got to rep the top of the crew here. And the silver level crew: David Lara, Justin Quarles, the Q man. Much love to him. We also have Top Dog Bay Bullies,
Dwayne Brisson.
Yeah. And last, never least, the man, Mr. A. Lavelle, who's been on the membership side for 68 months. You heard that right.
Which is crazy.
Silver level style. Also, Aussie in the star level. And John Luna still repping it in that star level. Appreciate you guys as well. And now we'll talk about real quick here the I guess you can. I'll come up my screen. Anyway, we're going to talk here about the different ways of dropping the love. Really simple. You see the super chats available. It's right there at the bottom of your screen in the chat, a little dollar sign. So that's one way of dropping the love here, being on the board and all that stuff. Then you also have I guess you get the YouTube side of things. You have the thanks button, which I know my guy Citizen Z sometimes uses. But then you have the membership side of things. The thanks button, by the way, is for videos. You can be anytime. It doesn't have to be when we're live. And then you have the thanks button. Then you also have the jumping in the membership, which again, I mean, if I shout out everybody who jumped in the membership since our last stream, it's everybody basically, guys. So shout outs to you all. Man, I just have pages of you guys of the membership crew. So thank you all on that side. And if you're in the membership, you can then gift memberships as well, which is a double bonus. I explained that already. But then there's the After Dark way of doing things. And those, I see some of the names on the After Dark side of things. There's some the After Dark way of doing it, not through YouTube, baby.
Of course, you have
Cash App King, right?
Yes, this is for the Cash App Kingdom, so to speak. But of course, you have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-Cowboys-family, the regular PayPal link, but you also have the Streamlabs link, which is, let your comment show up on screen just like a super chat would.
Yeah, those are emergency times, but sometimes we need to do those. But anyways, and all of this, guys, you see the goal there at the top left of the chat, or wherever you're at on your chat there. But the goal is I think we got 1 out of 20 right now. It's got to be 5 or more to let you know the way it goes. And if we get to 20, which we have done, everybody in there goes into a pre-raffle for this. I like to say here, for our quarterly jersey raffle. Star level, by the way, gets 1 bonus entry. Over everything level gets 2 bonus entries. So just keep that in mind. And of course, the sponsor of the quarter gets a bonus entry as well. So like right now, JD Burton would have a bonus raffle entry. The star level members, the 2 of them would have, 1. There's no over everything right now, but that's to be on the show. It's the over everything level. But anyways, that's the way it goes. That's the way it is right now. And of course, I think there's one raffle we're going to do where it has everyone's name that hit the goal for that night or that day. And when we do that, we'll throw in those names as well. So we got a long way to go here, but a lot to talk about. So let's keep it moving by giving out the shout outs. Who's in the house tonight?
Of course.
Let's go.
Shout out to Dallas Cowboys R1. Much love. We have Meatball Ron in the house. At Pfeiffer, hello and hi.
The MCF After Dark top sponsor.
You already know C Bass bringing the heat, saying, I'm over here. What up, fam? What's up, C Bass? Much love to you. Scorpio, of course, representing. Thank you so much, man. Char Batty, the Moms.
Yes. Of the After Dark channels. Yes.
What's up, Char? We have Motor City Maniac representing
Motor
through. Of course, the man D Link. What's up? Much love.
Yeah,
Thank you again.
the man motor has got the Detroit Lions over there for saying, yeah.
Rolando Rodriguez all the way from Texas.
Mm.
That every year is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
New
So
year, let's give it a shot. Let's hope.
I know, but it feels like Jerry consistently likes
But
the
don't expect too much.
you
Yeah.
know, like the coconut ones. I'm sorry if you like coconut. Oh, let me see. Denver Sports
Hell
highlights.
yeah.
Shout out to
In the
you. Hello and
house.
hi. By the way, if the chat is correct, the little birdie said it was your birthday, so happy
Hey,
birthday,
yeah,
Daniel.
belated birthday, but yes,
Okay.
we got over on the after dark.
Okay,
Much love
good.
to
Just
him.
making sure. So happy birthday, man. Let me see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, of course. Shouting out Dwayne Broussard, the top dog
Yeah,
himself.
DB. A lot of DBs in the house.
Skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical.
Always.
Jeremy Betts, take it easy. All good.
Yes.
You know, what better way to start the day than to rewind with MCF? So, all right.
Well,
Let
let's
me
get it
see. Oh,
rolling.
Scorpios. Okay. Oh, the Caleb Downs thing is crazy. We can. I'm just saying we can discuss more of that when we
Yeah.
talk about the combine things.
Yeah,
Just
that'll
because.
be towards the end, but we are going to discuss it all here. And let's just get right into it because actually, I kind of wanted you to kind of start it off for us, baby, if you don't mind. A couple NFL stories, a couple NFL things that happened since we were gone.
I actually do mind. Just kidding.
So go
Let's go
for it.
ahead, dive right into it,
Yeah.
guys. So, I already heard about this, but the Vikings wide receiver Rondo Moore unfortunately died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was only 25, and as you guys know, he had two really rough back-to-back seasons that, ended in big injuries. He was drafted by the Cardinals as the 49th overall pick. He got traded to Atlanta, but obviously he didn't play because he got injured
Yeah.
during training camp, and then he signed just a one-year deal, lots of hype around him, and then another season-ending injury.
I'm just going to
So
say three
obviously,
letters. Is it CTE situated?
hey, honestly,
Hmm.
I with situations like this, we kind of know it just takes one bad moment. And
Yeah.
this is a young man who was at the top of his game, playing
Well,
amazing. That's
yeah, but
okay.
he was
For him,
injured.
look, for him is what I'm saying. Like just saying, and then to have two big injuries like that,
Right. Blow it. Yeah. Before he got
right
to
when
that point.
he's basically like getting his chance here to be a professional at the sport that he obviously wants to be at. So just saying that I have to imagine that rehab process is very long, and again, maybe a bad moment, but I am
Maybe in
sure
his mind,
that
losing his
the years of
career,
playing football
yeah.
maybe contributed to that as well. But
Losing it, you lose. You could have mental health issues already. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if it's a CTE, it could be mental health issues, suicidal thoughts. But the point is that with that, along with the stresses of being injured and not having that promising career go as expected,
that's why I said all it
yeah,
takes is just one rough moment, and it's really unfortunate that someone with so much potential and so young
yeah,
is gone so soon.
yeah.
So
Marshawn Lattimore last year for us.
yeah,
So, and again, that was for CT
Sean Nealon.
or Lattimore, not Marshawn Lattimore or somebody else I got to talk about. Marshawn Nealon, number
Yeah,
94.
so and Chris
Yeah.
Plumage, what's
I'm
up?
still in
Much
off-season
love.
mode as well.
Oh, it's all right. So, like I said, just a
Yeah,
horrible situation
and
there,
another
and an
close to home
unfortunate.
Cowboy news here. We met this person, this lady,
Yes, if you guys
at
have
the
been
game.
to any of the home games, or or just like one of those fans that's like kind of more in the know of this part of things, there's a woman, Miss Price,
Yeah.
guys, the most die-hard Cowboy fan,
Other than
legendary.
us, though. But all right, yeah.
But she's known for going to basically every
Every
single
home game.
training camp, every home game, has
Yep.
been doing it for like since the OG days. Unfortunately, she passed at age 82 following a battle with cancer,
Yeah.
and the Cowboys organization did honor her because, again, like I said, she is known as the number one fan. You've definitely seen her in Cowboys like
Yep.
media and other things.
Yep.
She's been heavily featured several
She has
times.
star
Yep.
glasses, black lady. You know what I'm saying? It was just she was awesome. We were there, we met her, we took pictures with her. So I should have uploaded one of those. Damn.
True.
But yeah,
But yeah, just wishing the best
yeah,
for
her
family
family,
at
yeah.
this time, and
Sucks.
another real Cowboy fan gone,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
R.I.P. to Price.
Yes.
Now the Cowboys, not just the Cowboys, every team did their grading
Report
system,
cards.
report card on how things are done at the facility. Mainly, in different areas like treatment of families, Home field, how does that feel to play home field? Traveling, food and dining, nutritionist, dietitian, locker room. So, anyways, the point is, when the numbers came out for Dallas, I don't care what anybody else had, but for the Cowboys, treatment of facilities was a B. Home field, only a C for the Cowboys. So no home field. And again, keep those curtains open, Jerry. That's what happens. Traveling, not the most fun for the Cowboys. They rated it a C. Food and dining, a B. Nutritionist and dietitian, a B plus. Cowboys got to feed your investments, right? Locker rooms, high tech. We've seen it. It's a B plus by the players. The training room, which was state of the art, great, whatever, got a D. A D.
Well,
we've seen it. It was all right. It wasn't out of this world. Like Buffalo's I know became bigger. Cole Beasley talked
like
shit.
fish at an aquarium.
Yeah, that's another thing too. When the fans come by, they see the players working out, and it's like, I just need to focus. It's a big clown show by Jerry Jones. But anyways, training room, they say a D. Training staff, a C. That could be a move that has to be made. I don't know.
From everything we've heard consistently throughout the years, it's usually not the staff themselves as much as the number of
staffers. Yeah, two people.
Surprisingly cheap when it comes to their staff and their coaches and their actual Cowboy adjacent personnel. So that's a complaint we've heard for years now consistently, that we're just very understaffed, all things considered, and we also don't pay as well as you would think, and also not as much as other teams comparatively. So.
Interesting. I'm looking here and I'm seeing other things here, like our weight room. Weight room got an A minus. Position coaches, a B. Offensive coordinator, an A. So that's good news there for Clayton Adams. And then you got defensive coordinator, which of course we know that was Eberflus, got a C, which is good for him, I guess you can say. And then you have special teams coordinator got a B plus, but Sorensen, he's still there. Head coach got an A minus for Schottenheimer. So by the players, so they like his style.
But what I'm saying is that it seems like he vibes with the team.
I guess they didn't want to say anything bad because it said general manager a B. That's Jerry Jones. And ownership a B. They answered those two the same because it's the same thing.
Trying to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. But the same thing there. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting to look at. Now let's get to the real deal things. The NFL announced basically the salary cap for 2026, and it went up a shitload. I think $22 million up from last year, $301.2 million per team. I remember it was just going over $200 million. It's at $301.2 million per team. I kind of said this would happen, and it's going to boost up again in 2028, 2029, when these contracts with TVs, with the TV stations and the channel, these are going to continue to go up. And that's the next wave of it going up is 2028, I think, or 29. Either way, that's when you're going to see it be at 400,000. Easy. So again, the NFL informed teams that the cap went up, 22 million up from last year, which now it's 301.2 million. And I'll explain what that does for the Cowboys later on, where we're at and how we can easily get, be one of the most cap open teams, no cap restraints team in the league.
Yeah.
But the point is that the NFL did also announce non-exclusive rights for franchise players and transition players. All right, so like a second round tender would be more like a transition player.
Okay.
And of course, we know what the franchise player is, a non-exclusive rights for the team. Yeah. You cannot go anywhere unless you give up 2 first rounders. I'll explain. But anyways, the main thing we're looking at here, they got numbers 43.8 for quarterbacks. I mean, just to get a franchise quarterback and franchise him, 43.8 million, 43.9. I mean, Dak's Dak's pretty high, but still, my point is that it's catching up already, it feels like. But the main thing I'm looking at here, 2 things. And I can say, look, Trent, we'll talk about a second round tender in a minute, because we've got one of our guys that did get that. And transition player, keep this number in mind, $6 million. All right, because that could be what Brandon Aubrey will be put under. But I'll get to that in a minute. Because first we're going to start off with our I'll say surprise, but our other diva wide receiver with a little more attitude, George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we know that we franchise tagged him. Well, we actually, when I had mentioned that, we weren't officially franchise tagged him, but I told you guys that would happen. We already knew it, and the Joneses already said they were going to do that, almost as a placeholder and see where we get a
Like,
long-term
feel
deal.
something out.
Long-term deal means like his number there on his jersey, 3 years usually. So the Cowboys officially placed the franchise tag on George Pickens, I think, on the second day of the opening of the tagging. So the Cowboys now have, listen to this, they have until July 15th, as we remember with Dak, July 15th to work out a long-term deal, which is, of course, what George Pickens definitely wants. Um, but if they do not work out a long-term deal by July 15th, Pickens will be getting paid. They say around 28 million, but we know the number in 2026 is officially now 27.298 million
Okay.
dollars. So again, close enough to 28, but closer to 27 on this one. Not really that important in the sense that it's 27, 28 million. That's going to be the baseline for him. He's going to want 30 to 40.
So
Is what we're hearing.
said that if we sign a long-term deal with Pickens, do we still take the cap hit from the franchise tag?
No. So if you get a long-term deal, you now can restructure it however you want. So that's the advantage. Right now, we take a whole 28 million off the fucking top of our cap. You can't push that forward. You can't cut it up into years. But if you get
the hit is that you're making a long-term commitment and obviously guaranteeing a lot more than just whatever you're going to guarantee for the 1 year.
Right. The 1 year, though, it's also you get a cheap player if you don't really look to keep him for a long-term future. Now, the Joneses,
good time, not a long time.
Then you want a franchise tag.
It makes more sense to tag him than to try and
if he has
trade him potentially.
And if you have another good year from him, he'll get us a end of the third round pick, compensatory pick. So really, baseline on picks is third rounder. The baseline on cost for him is $28 million. And that's what we're looking at right now as the facts go. Now,
to be honest, and this is the last thing I'll say before I hand it back to you, baby.
Yes,
sorry.
Just right.
I would really like to see the Cowboys work out something long term with Pickens. But I think how I feel about that depends a lot on what the Cowboys do with the rest of their free agency and draft this year. Just because I also am very understanding that we can't just spend all of our money basically on a quarterback and 2 receivers, which is basically what's going to happen.
That's and our offensive line. It's going to start to get piled up.
Pricey. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like we're heavily investing in the offense in a very, very big way. I just want to see what it would potentially look like if Pickens were to stay here long term. So hard to do that without free agency in the draft. That's all I'm saying. No,
I agree, but it's more to me about will we get a. Let me put it out slowly because I just want to put the facts out, give you your opinion there, but I found out a couple more things and facts and possibilities for Pickens. So under the non-exclusive franchise tag, George Pickens can negotiate. He can still negotiate with other teams other than the Cowboys.
Okay.
Right, he's getting $27.2 million baseline with the Cowboys. That's a done deal. It's a placeholder. You can work a deal with him, but he can also go to other teams and ask to get a deal. But here's the key: the Cowboys retain the right to match any offer that Pickens gets to retain him. And if let's say someone's going to give him $40 million, the Cowboys say, "Fuck no."
Mm-hmm.
If they say they gave him 20, they say they gave 31 million, the Cowboys say, "All right, cool. We'll give him 31.5 million, or we match it 31 million." Then that works. We keep him. We have the first rights to him. But if he does get a bigger deal, like 40 million from the Vikings, let's say, the Cowboys then can opt to not match that. And if the Cowboys don't match that, the Vikings would have to give the Cowboys 2 first-round draft picks. So you're basically trading them for 2 first-rounders. Some team may do that and want to pay them the big money. That they don't have a big, like the Cardinals. I don't know. Somebody might want to do that. But we'd get 2 first-round picks. And I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the 2 first-round picks over 1 year Pickens. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest. So, again, and again, if you look at some of the things with Pickens, he did some great things. No doubt. But he's also diva-ish. So you never know when that long-term deal could become a big long-term mistake. You just don't know. You just don't know.
Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
No, I'm not, again.
Like, I'd rather have the
I'm going to be honest.
Pickens bird in my hand than the 2 first-round picks. I
don't know. I
think the whole reason that we want to tag Pickens and the whole reason I want to see him here in a more long-term I'm trying to win now. We're trying to do this now. We do not have too much longer. Even a long-term deal for Pickens 3 years, like even that feels like almost too much. That's why I said that, you know, like we'll save that discussion, the deeper discussion of how would it look like for him to stay long term for after when we know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how we get it all done. Also knowing our front office and
Notoriously cheap. I
so,
mean, what are you gonna do?
but and again, it's not, and I'm just saying what I would prefer. It's not like having 2 first round picks is a it's not going to be a sore loser over that.
No,
Saying
first
that
two,
I'd definitely rather
it's
have Pickens now than 2 future picks.
so
Like
no,
that's it.
you're making a good
So
point. I think also that the major it's a lot of things I'm weighing out, in my opinion, because I'm gonna be honest, baby.
mhm.
Now, you made it yourself. You made the point yourself. I don't. And some people are gonna hate me for this, but I don't want to pay Pickens $35 million to be here for 3 years. I don't mind paying him $28 million for one more year. You guys understand what I'm trying to say here? So
I
that's kind of the way
do.
that's the way I feel. You said it yourself. It's now, right? So out of those two options, I think the Cowboys front office is going to bullshit us all the way to July 15th, and then not sign them long term. That's my
I mean
prediction if we get there.
that would be a pretty typical Cowboy thing.
Now,
So
remember, we get 2 first-round picks, but the thing is any team going to want to sign Pickens when he's going to get that huge market receiver deal, right? It's going to be huge. It had to be 35 million or higher, and then also give up 2 first-round picks. It wouldn't be the same year, by the way. It'd be, let's say, 2027 and 2028. That team would lose the first 2 first-rounders. I'm in. If the Cardinals do that and they want to pay him $35, $40 million, I know you're saying about winning now. There's other options you can do with that right now money. That extra money you're not going to be spending on him right now. But yes, you could sign him. Right now he's hitting us with $28 million. But if you get him for 3 years, you can add 2 more voidable years onto that. So it's actually a 5-year deal and push another $6 million of dead money and $6 million dead money once he's gone. So it would make his hit this year instead of 28 and make it like 15, 12. So yeah, you can still get that money if you want to go for it. Yeah.
The only way that works is if we actually are again aggressive now with that money.
Right.
We have to actually do something with it now,
but
and not just like hoard it like our little dragon.
If the Cowboys have always shown that they hoard it, and that's what scares me with the Joneses. So giving them all the money, they could have $100 million to. They're actually going to have more than $100 million. You could have $200 million to spend, and it's still not going to be used in the way that you guys think it's going to be or want it to be used. It might be one of the guys might be all right, but not all the guys will not be.
And to be fair,
you're
not giving the Cowboys too much credit here, but we are seeing things go a little differently than they typically would for not only a Cowboy offseason, but we kind of said it. Schottenheimer is a different take on a Jerry-style coach than what we've seen so far, right? The team seems to be responding to that, and
give him an A. I mean, is too much of a player's coach, though?
It's more now that we've tweaked the coaching off defense side of things.
Yeah, we talked
about
Christian Parker.
To impact the defensive player side of things. The whole point is offensively, it just needs some tweaks, but defensively, it's a rebuild. Mm-hmm. So now that we're doing that and we are doing things a little differently, like, what other differences are potentially there.
Right.
Like you said, we're not really holding out hope, especially when you look at all the things that point to a lot of business as usual.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go right into it because this is the thing. Jerry Jones actually spoke directly. This is important to like what the situation is, because you remember Micah Parsons, they ended up speaking alone in person. And Jerry said we had a deal. Micah's like, you got to talk to my accountant. My accountant. You got to talk to my agent first. So again, both sides were smart. Jerry Jones spoke directly with George Pickens to inform him that the franchise tag was being placed on him. Smart for Pickens to have this conversation over the phone rather than in the owner's office to avoid what happened with Micah Parsons when Jerry kind of made a deal while they were talking, and it wasn't really a deal for Micah yet. So over the phone, they're a little more controlled in that sense. There's less, chance to charm the player one-on-one and not go through his agent. Now, here's what Stephen Jones said on the franchise tag on George Pickens. Quote, "We couldn't take the chance on losing him. George was fired up. excited. He said, I don't want to play anywhere but with the Cowboys. We're fired up that George is going to be back. It just, I mean, it's great, but it sounds more like the basic bullshit. Like he wants to be here because he's going to get paid and he wants the big money. And Stephen Jones is saying, yeah, you're going to be here, but you're going to take a good deal.
I don't think it's a surprise. We
Right,
want him
yeah.
back for now. He
Right.
wants to be here for now. We're more than happy to pay him for that.
All right. So some
For now.
some franchise tag numbers. So you know, of the players tagged in the last 6 years,
Mhm.
54% played on the tag, and 46% signed a long-term deal. So 55-45, 55% play on the tag. Of those that signed a long-term deal, only 2 signed for an APY, meaning average per year, lower than the value of the tag. So again, they all got over the tag, other than 2.
Yeah.
The average full guarantee of those signings long-term reflect the cost of 2 franchise tags. So if you sign George Pickens long-term, it's like you're using 2 franchise tags. Keep that in mind. And then, and I'm saying in worth and value, not an actual franchise tag. And the Cowboys also want to keep um, George Pickens, of course. Everybody wants to keep George Pickens for the long term, but Pickens also knows this. He knows the Cowboys want to keep him here, but he wants a deal reached. So the newest information, this was like yesterday, today,
Okay.
is that he is going to hold out for the offseason activities. And so does that change your mind about wanting to pay him long term? But this is, again, I want to remind everybody, this is what a lot of players always do. And he's been saying this in Pittsburgh. One of the reasons why they got rid of him because they didn't want to pay him that long term money he was starting to bitch about there. So he came to the Cowboys. He's okay, I'll have a good year, and then I'll bitch. And that's what he's doing now. And again, Pickens knows that he wants to reach a deal, not just a tag. So don't expect him to necessarily, sign the tag yet, which means you don't have to be there and he's not get fined and return to the OTAs, the offseason activities. So do not expect him to be there, but I do expect him to kind of warm it, playing with Dak, in his field and throwing the ball. But again, he's going to be holding out. That's what he's saying right now. And again, it's going to come down in the end to, George Pickens. He's eyeing free agency and you're going to use that as leverage to try to get a deal from the Cowboys to trick the Joneses to pay more. So again, we have to somehow, figure out not to get into an all-out bidding war with anybody. July 15th is a long time away, guys. But that's a deadline, and it's, once you get there, you either match whatever deals were made by other free agents, by other teams. You either match that deal, or you let them go and you accept the 2 first-round picks. Let me get that right. But then they'll pay him like 35 million, 40 million. So what do you think about it now that you hear the holdout?
First, the Joneses are absolutely not going to get into a bidding war over Pickens. They're salivating for somebody to come and
give us 2
drop
first-rounders?
Yeah, they would love that. That's why I said that it's like this is like a dream come true. So outside of that, I think that I don't think Pickens not doing the OTA. Like, so what? Tons of players don't do that when they're in contract stuff. That's just very typical stuff.
And he's
He's
actually
been
not under
very, I'm
contract
just saying,
yet,
he's been pretty
technically.
vocal about, being devoted to the team on social media. He's very active on other Cowboy players' profiles and
hmm
stuff. So, like, all good.
Yeah. So again, when I look here, I look at the next kind of situation, which is going to be. I know some people are going to be like, what's going on here with our kicker? Who's telling the truth? What's the issue? I'm hearing things of him getting. He's going to be the highest paid kicker in history. He's going to be, he's going to be a guy who is going to have to be tagged. Is he asking for $10 million? And we're hearing a lot of different things about him. We're going to talk about him here in a minute. I do want to just say I'm uploading this board here. Much love D-Link, who I did get to put up on there. And I'm pretty sure Skeptical Fan can make a little skip and a jump up into 9th place. Let me see here. I'm doing it on the fly, so hopefully I don't make a mistake. But let me see here. There it is. Okay, you got Mr. Skeptical Fan jumping into 9th place, just like that. So shout outs to him. And like I said,
And I guess I'll do a little mini commercial break here since we haven't done it yet. But if you are here, thank you so much for being here. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, Hop in the Discord, it's down below.
Yeah. Now, we also, again, talking about George Pickens, that's great, but now we got to talk about your favorite player, baby, Brandon Aubrey. So,
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna like
no,
keep going after that. I know it's my favorite player.
no, but I was trying to draw you in a little bit because we did use our second round tender.
Don't worry, I've been activated like a sleeper agent.
Yeah. Our second round tender was put on not Brandon Aubrey. Our second round tender was put on TJ Bass, backup offensive lineman. Interesting. The Cowboys really like him. We know he provides great depth. He's started a lot of games for us, but he's a backup. So what it's costing the Cowboys to keep TJ Bass, which I think is a valuable piece right now. It used to be like $1.5 million, $2 million to keep someone like him. You can see how much it's gone up. $5.8 million. So like $6 million to keep, almost $6 million to keep TJ Bass. Now, again, if someone wants to get him from us, they probably have to pay more than that and give us a second rounder.
Okay.
So Cowboys are willing to lose a second rounder for TJ Bass. So again, backup situation. Now let's get to the guy that we might have to use another kind of tag on him. I don't know if we have any left, but I think we have a transition tag. So the thing is this: Stephen Jones was speaking about this, getting a long-term deal with All-Pro kicker Brandon Aubrey, trying to get one done. Right? He said, "quote." This is what Stephen Jones said about Aubrey. "Quote: We've exchanged offers, and the goal is to get him signed. We'll tender him before the deadline if that's what we have to decide." So a little bit, almost sounds like a threat, but we use that tender on TJ Bass. I'm not sure it's the same tender though. Brian Broda said this.
It does kind of sound like a threat now that you say that. Like, we'll use it if we have to.
Now, again, the thing is that a lot of people are saying that he was asking for $10 million a year. Brian Brodus basically said that, as far as what Brandon Aubrey had, and that was, by the way, that was misrepresented by, I think, Calvin Watkins from Dallas Morning News. I think he messed that up there. So he did come out and fix it and gave us the actual information. But Brian Broder, I think it was 6.5. No, it was 7 million, 6.5 million. Yeah. So Brian Broder said that Aubrey, said that the Cowboys offer was about 7.5 million, and that he countered with a $10 million.
He made a
demand.
$10 million counter offer.
Yeah, that was not true, and Brian Burtis called it out and said it was fake. He said they did not offer him $7.5 million. They offered him near $7 million. So again, is it fake that he's looking for $10 million? It is. Because Brandon Aubrey, you can see here, again, a lot of people are saying out there, he declines the offer to become the NFL's highest paid kicker, and he wants a huge deal. Well, Aubrey and his wife made it clear right after this news came out that he did not decline a contract to make him the highest paid kicker. In the Instagram comments, you can read about it out there. But Jen Aubrey came out with the comment and said about that report and said false. Then he came out and said fake. So again, it sounds like it's hovering around $7 million. But it's it feels like it's going to get done sooner than later for the Cowboys, and that's somebody I know you want to keep. Obviously, we got to keep him. So I think most of the chat agrees.
You're gonna read a few comments here. So first of all, let me see. Dallas Cowboy R1 said, "I know Aubrey's the GOAT, but I will not pay any kicker $10 million. That's just my choice.
Right.
Take like the $7.5 million or walk."
Yeah, no, I just want to reiterate: the $10 million was a fake story. I just want to make sure. Some people still think of it as being real. It is. I know I'm mentioning it, but it is a story that was made a mistake by Calvin Watkins.
But the reason I like that though is because Dallas Cowboy R1 points out though that he'd be fine for $7.5 million.
Exactly,
absolutely.
And he's teetering on 7 in negotiations. And 7.5.
And that's why I said if the Cowboys offered him 7, that means that they're obviously
they'll get the 7.5.
He's negotiating for a little more, but it's not like $2-3 million more. His pay range isn't in that level.
Yeah.
So Chris Plumage said our offensive MVP shouldn't be our kicker. I'm down with Aubrey, but basically that
it's a lot of money.
The yips. They're on the field only so many plays a game. Like
they can win you games. They could be deciders and Super Bowls. What I'm trying.
And then Scorpio said Aubrey scored more points than our total offense combined.
Exactly.
So
he is the biggest. Listen, the thing I'm trying to say is that if you give him a 3-year deal, you're gonna be paying a $4 million hit this year on him. You understand? Even if you're giving him $8 million, so we'll be fine. He's the least. Listen, I want to make sure people understand. Even if he gets $7.5 million, guys, we have to erase our minds about the way it was even 3 or 4 years ago, or even 2 years ago, because the lowest paid players and kickers are not getting $1 million anymore. They're getting 3 or 4, and we got Bass for 5. I'm just saying, like, he's a backup offensive lineman, and that's important. $5 million is a steal nowadays.
You know how you go to
for
the
a backup
grocery
lineman.
store and you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
how that
Everything went
same
up so
$100
fast.
that used to fill up a cart barely fills up a basket anymore?
That's because of World War III.
Inflation has hit football.
Yeah.
Finally, I guess. I don't know how to
Not
put
really. I
it,
mean, it's
you
just
know.
it's just that you have to
It happens
know
slowly,
the way
but
it
it does
goes.
feel like the
Yeah.
last handful of years we've seen it kind of like
Burst.
go up in
Yeah.
a sharper rate.
Yeah.
So you're kind of seeing it now because, like you said, most of us fans are used to talking about a few different numbers and different ranges, so it's only been, like you said, a handful of years since that ceiling has been raised.
Yeah.
Ceiling?
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I
You get
agree.
my point. So, Aubrey asking for $7.5 million is, I guess, the equivalent of a kicker asking for like $4.5 million back in the day, I guess.
I mean,
Maybe.
$4-5 million would be like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like nobody would pay $5 million for a kicker.
Exactly. So, and it's funny. No one will pay $10 million for a kicker.
It's
You
gonna
basically
it'll
just
happen.
double the numbers, and that's kind of where we're at. So
It will happen.
Hmm.
Eventually, it'll be 10, and then eventually be 15, and that's the way it's gonna. That's the way. Because the cap's gonna be at $410 million in a couple of years.
yeah.
So
So the final thing I'll say, because Chris, you do bring up a good point. Aubrey scoring more points than the offense seems like a bigger issue of the team. Why is he the highest scorer? Because we got CD, we got Pickens, so we can't score touchdowns.
that's a problem with it. That is I
And
do
that's why I
agree.
said we just it feels very relevant, especially after the Pickens discussion where we just talked about, we want to pay him $35 million a year on average, long term.
Would you rather? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask everybody a question this way. Would you rather keep Brandon Aubrey, pay $8 million, and get 2 first-round picks for Pickens, or would you rather lose Aubrey, pay Pickens $40 million, and that's it? I'm just asking. I'd rather keep Aubrey. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of options out there at receiver. There's a lot of options out there that you can, help this offense. And again, just like you said, just like they said in the chat, we had these guys still couldn't put up the touchdowns as often as you think we could. So again, there's a lot of ifs there. There's a lot of divaism from Pickens. I'm sorry, I got to be real. So I just don't know if 1 year I can roll with that, but 3 years I don't want to do that with Pickens. So I know it all feels good to say this right up when it happens, and you had a good year, but there's other guys that can do similar things that are a lot less than $40 million or $35 million. Now, if he's going to be 31, pay him. I have no problem with that. You're going to pay him 28. Another 3 is not going to break it. You know what I'm saying? You can still keep Aubrey with that, but you're going to pay him 40. I just don't think that's even crazy. That's 5 more than CD Lamb, I think. So I'm just saying, like,
the Cowboys offense basically did the football equivalent of blue balls to us all fucking season, right? They kept driving us down the field, and then
and Seabass says
stopping short.
We need a play caller. I mean, I think Schottenheimer was. I know he's head coach. But obviously, I don't know if he was the play caller. I think he was the play caller, but I know Clayton Adams designed the plays. And he was kind of the guy who got a lot of the credit and actually was rated very high by the Cowboy team as far as the offensive coordinator. So
to answer the question you asked, by the way, I am way too biased to answer this fairly in any
you'll
way.
take Aubrey, of course, yes.
But even removing my bias as much as I can, I still, I don't want to agree with you, but I do because, like I said, it comes back to my core thing. Putting that much money into our offense just feels...
Well, Seabass said
irresponsible when we haven't seen results from that same exact lineup in the way to justify spending that much money on it. You know what I mean?
And it's, again, Chris Plumich makes the point kind of I've been saying. Do you trust Aubrey, team chemistry, or Pickens? Pickens has one good season of good behavior, and all the time was it good. He slowed down in some of those throws. You guys do remember that, right? I know you guys don't just remember the highlights, right? I mean, you guys remember Pickens slowing down at the end of routes that he couldn't have touchdowns on a couple of times towards the end of the year when we were already out of things. So just saying, and Seabass saying that, again, I said 28 million because that's the tag, but it's 30 million according to Seabass, according to Pickens. So already we're looking at 30 million. I mean, 31, 32, all right. But anything over that, I think you got to start thinking about letting another team have them and take those 2 first-round picks. That's my thought. Because, you lose them for a year off the tag, but you're getting 2 first-round picks. You're getting 2 whole players for cheap for the first 4 years to 5 years of their career. again, it could be a bust and get hurt, but Pickens could go crazy this year, like Antonio Brown, and what? You know what I'm saying? We could say a lot of whats. So here's the thing. Let me move it on because we talked about
We can
Aubrey.
spend a lot of time talking about this.
I know Aubrey could be all day here, but let's go and talk about the actual signing officially. Javonte Williams, running back, guys. Yeah, great. Again, I called this a couple of years ago. I have a stream up here from a couple of years ago. I was saying, let's get him on here. This was when they had too many running backs. This was 2 years ago.
I was really happy.
And I'm like, we need to get him on here. Yeah.
It came out.
So,
because like you said it. This was a smart thing to do. And the way that, I know you're about to break it down for us, but this was just like happy all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, he was often injured. He had a great first rookie year in Denver, then tore his ACL second year, and third year ready to go, but other guys kind of took over in the preseason, and then they kind of put him as the third running back. And his fourth year, I think they drafted a running back. I don't know, third year, fourth year. The point is that he was basically non-existent years ago, and that's when I said the Cowboys should maybe work out a seventh round, trade, seventh rounder for him or something like this and pick him up for cheap. But the Cowboys waited till he was a free agent and then signed him for cheap last year. He had over 1,000 yards, a great season. So what did the Cowboys do? We signed him. Smart move, solid running back. Now, is he the answer to all the problems? No. But it's a smart move. Javonte Williams, starting running back, agreed to terms on a 3-year deal worth $24 million. So, again, 3-year deal, $24 million. You're looking at what, $8 million a year for a good, solid running back. I know Tony Pollard was like, 10 when he left us, but I think Williams had better numbers, if I'm not mistaken. And at least last year or 2 years ago he did. But the point, or last year he did. The point I'm trying to say, though, is that we have to look at the guarantees. That's really what matters. So, yeah, it's a 3-year deal, but the guarantees are $16 million out of 24. That puts you at 2 years, really. It's a 2-year deal. So a 2-year deal for $16 million is what it comes out to. It's $8 million a year. It's guaranteed to him. So again, breakout season with the Cowboys, catching the ball, blocking, being there for the team, and also, of course, running the ball, limited to no fumbles, knocking on wood for that next year. Again, very trusted, handy guy, and I'm glad to have him back here. Cowboys are serious about trying to get the running back, the backfield kind of solidified, so to speak. But a lot of people are saying that with his torn ACL and the $16 million, that is a calculated risk. Because again, we got ourselves Mr. Mark Hosepian in the house. Mr. Mark, long time. I know he has all our thoughts going out to you, brother. I know you kind of not been feeling great, but I know you're here, dropping that star. And I always like to hear what you got to say, man. What did Mark Hosepian say dropping that 5
aloha.
Hell yeah.
To Mark Hosepian saying, why is it that our defensive end just got surgery on an injury that he'd been diagnosed with? Why didn't he get it right after the season ended? So, first of all, thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. But that's a great question. We didn't get to him yet, but yes.
Without, I don't remember the exact thing that was wrong with his net. It was his knee. I don't remember the exact thing that's wrong with his knee. As far as the actual medical condition and stuff like that. But something we have been seeing the last few years is players delaying their surgeries and basically pre-rehabbing. So just throwing it out there that there's a potential that is the most likely thing that, his doctors or his whoever told him to do some kind of rehabbing or strengthening stuff so that his recovery after the surgery could be shortened significantly. Not necessarily with ACLs, but I know there's been a few cases of injuries where we've seen that happen. And I don't want to speak out of my ass either. So I'll leave it there. But I would like to think that is the main reason. Just because, otherwise, or it was on that borderline where maybe it did or didn't need surgery. And as he was maybe rehabbing or doing stuff during the off season, it got to the point where they're like, nah. We better take care of this now. I feel like those are both more realistic scenarios, especially considering most players do rush to get their surgeries as soon as the season's over.
Look,
his hip. Okay, thank you. I couldn't remember if it was his knee or his hip. We've got a few injuries.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to everything in a minute. I do want to kind of roll it back though, Mark, to Javonte Williams in the sense that, again, good running back, all right? I never said he's the superstar. I just thought that he'd be a good kind of replacement for Tony Pollard. And and add depth. That's what I thought at the time. We had Pollard, and I think he would have been a much better pickup there as our second running back rather than Zeke. But durability is his concern. How about injuries? Javonte Williams had a major injury, as we know, right? I mean, the Cowboys are betting that in the next 2 years, he'll stay healthy. A healthy Javonte Williams will unlock a more versatile, high-powered offense without breaking the bank, meaning they want to spend the money somewhere else, or at least they're saying that, on their own guys, probably. According to the Cowboy front office, they believe it's a smart upside move over immediate production. So, I don't know. Look, it only pays off. This move, $8 million a year, if he stays healthy, it's worth it. If he does not, at least 2 years of health is we need from him. If he does not stay healthy, we can cut him after 2 years, but that's still $8 million a year out the door. So again, and I believe that if the Cowboys use him right, we can keep him healthy. It's a similar thing to some of the other guys like not Tyron Smith, but some other players like DeMarcus Lawrence and other guys. I want to manage them properly so that they wouldn't get worn out. You can say that about Micah. You can say that about Zeke.
Zach Martin in some ways towards that last year that he played.
But even like Zeke, we talked about him, when the Cowboys rode him to the ground, you know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to say is that 2 more years of him, and again, if he gets banged up at the end of the second year, you cut him because the third year, is not guaranteed. So it wouldn't cost us anything. So again, the thing is this, is that...
Okay, real quick, okay, so Lorenzo's saying that...
Javonte Williams?
Yes. No, not Javonte Williams. He put Devon, and now I can't think.
Overshown?
Yes. With the hip, that he had the surgery in January.
Okay. I'm thinking about. I mean, he had surgery in January.
The way that they kind of put the news out there made it sound like the surgery happened very recently. He's just kind of saying like, no. The surgery happened in January.
He had it back at the end of the year.
It happened in the offseason, more directly after the season ended. It wasn't like some
it wasn't more
long extended wait like we kind of thought with Mark's comment.
Right,
so I appreciate that, Lorenzo, for the clarifying that. Just because, okay, so it was like 5 weeks. Yeah, so that's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, again, you work out, rehab it for a couple of weeks beforehand, like you said, anyways, and then after you rehab it. And I say rehab, I say working the weights, getting the muscles around the tendons, stronger and strengthen them.
You guys said in the chat he played all year on it.
Yeah. So look, the thing is this, and I want to bring it. I know we're gonna jump to the Overshown here. I actually gonna have something about Overshown in a minute. But for Javonte Williams, who has his own injury possibilities, all right, he's versatile, he's high powered. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of leading this offense, we've seen it this past year, him doing this. But he has to be healthy. He has to stay on the field. So his ability to get the contact at the line of scrimmage and then kind of continues running through the guy. You see some of the highlights I put up. I mean, it's not, he's a powerful runner, but he's also hard to tackle and catch and block. When it comes to the explosiveness and the power, one of the best running backs when it comes to those two things in the league. Now, is he the best? No, but he's that ability is not seen by many running backs in the NFL. The ability to have that ability to make that contact at the line of scrimmage, but also have that explosiveness and that burst. Top 10 in the NFL on that side of things. Schottenheimer said that they're always looking to upgrade the running back room, but he feels great about where they're at running back with Javonte Williams resigned. So again, not saying we're not going to get anybody else, but it sounds like if we stay at this point at running back, that Schottenheimer would be happy with this. Now I'll shut up. I saw we got a drop. We got another drop. Skeptical fan with that $2 holler, and the man Marco Sepien with that 5 on it.
Read Skeptical's comments because plays into what you just said. Thank you so much, Skeptical, for the $2 holler. He said, "Will Jaden Blue be playing?"
Yeah,
he's the number 2 Q.
That's a number 2 running back. Yes. I mean, as of right now, he's going to have to be.
I'm going to be honest though, like you kind of said.
Schottenheimer did say, he's going to be
open auditions for RB2.
I agree, but Schottenheimer said that he is a guy that's going to be planned on being used this year. Of course, they said that last year too.
And now.
We got another one from Mr. Marco Sepien.
Mr. Hosepian, a big mahalo there.
Which, by the way, that's at 420. We're at 4 out of 20 hits on the gold board. And all those names get put in a raffle. We get 4 new names into the big raffle for the jersey. Anybody that hit the $5 or higher. I'm sorry, Skeptic.
So it's first $5 holler. He said, our O is set. Wide receiver and get 2 solid free agent players, and then the linebacker and safety from Philly, draft some defense. He can reach a Super Bowl, but Jerry Jones just keeps dicking around.
Again,
Clowns.
you can get mad at this, Mark. The amount of money we're going to have open. And the Cowboys are, again, I want to know. I'm curious to Mark because he's kind of like not contrarian, but I might be willing to do a little more quicker moves to try to win now, let's say. And Mark might be like, that's not worth it for that player. So I'm curious to know what he says about some of our guys. But in the meantime, Javonte Williams, I'm saying Javonte Williams with an $8 million a year deal. That's got to be, to me, that is it's good if he's healthy, but it's a big risk if he's getting banged up next year and beyond. Harley Dad in the house. Much love in the After Dark side of things. What Harley Dad have to say, baby?
He said, fuck the Niners and go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. I know he's a Niners fan.
Sorry, I'm a little dyslexic there, Harley Dad. So I might have gotten some of that mixed around a bit.
Much love to you, Harley. Thank you, brother. And go Cowboys. You know it. You know it.
Thank you, Harley Dad. Appreciate you. Throw to Mark's other $5 house.
Yes.
And then I'll share my thoughts on both after.
Yes.
And he said, if Aubrey's $10 million, I'll take that second rounder for him. And then sit your bass, mind you. With the offense and our wide receivers, we should be scoring more touchdowns with a healthy CD and, Flournoy. So, okay, so basically he's just making the argument that, we don't need Aubrey, like a healthy CD and us doubling that.
And picker, Kai
It's kind of like what we said earlier with the Pickens move. Like,
if you're going to put the money towards him.
Basically the offense is now going to put up, not just shut up, so we don't have to rely on Aubrey as much. So, rolling back for a second here. I'm going to share my thoughts very quickly. So I don't actually think our offense is set. I want to shout out Scorpio, who was one of the first to say it in the chat, at least, tight end. Guys, we have such a glaring hole at tight end. Like, there's some very, very dangerous things I would do for a tight end that knows his ass from his elbow. And the reason I say it is because even outside of everything else we've got going on, to me, that's the biggest offensive problem outside of like play calling, just from a personnel perspective, tight end. And I do think that, like you said, you want to see 2 free agents. Okay, one of those either needs to be a tight end because I need to see someone there who knows what they're doing. I'm scared. Here's my fear. The Cowboys are going to use their second round pick on a tight end. We know what that means.
That's a Schoonmaker. We want that.
That's what I'm saying. Like with the amount of picks and the amount of things we've got, I would love to see the Cowboys use their second first round pick on a tight end and just saying that to me would be impactful. Or like I said, bring in a free agent that at least knows his ass from his elbow. We don't need we're not ever going to have another fucking Jason Witten like that either. But even an average one. Like, you got me missing Dalton Schultz out here in a way that I was not expecting. Okay? So take that feeling, consider it, and then do something about it.
I hear you. I mean, tight end could be a position, but again, wait till there's got to be a good prospect. There is a good prospect, but he'll be gone by the time we pick.
Yeah. So
I think there's one tight end out there that's like fantastic, fastest tight end in the combine in history, I think. But
yeah,
you won't be there, I don't think.
The rest, and obviously, you probably hopped in here after we had clarified, but that whole Brandon Aubrey wants $10 million.
Yeah, that's not true.
DCR wants to in the chat. Fake news, of course, right? Apparently, they're negotiating closer to $7 million. So wherever his number lands, it's going to be way closer. It's $7 million or more, and much closer to the $7 million than the more.
Yeah, I think 7.5 to 8 is the most they're going to spend on him. 8 is the magic number. I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but
knees, I agree. But, I've said I was specific about saying that our offensive problems, the only real offensive problems we have outside of play calling is the tight end position. The defense is the problem.
Defense, for sure. But again, we're going to talk about the defense in a minute. But I want to make sure that, again, running back room, according to Schottenheimer, he's content. We'll see what happens. But I just kind of going through all these things real quick. Listen to this. This is what I'm saying. If we don't sign Pickens on a long-term deal, it's $28 million, right? If we do sign him on a long-term deal, his cap hit would be around $10 to $12 million. Right now it's at 28. So that's a big savings this year. You sign him for a 2 or 3 year deal for Pickens. If, like you said, you're willing to put up the money, but we've never seen the Joneses really do that. If they're going to do that, I'm all in on Pickens. But I don't trust this front office to do that. We got Mark Hosepian, who I fully trust to give me his true feelings about things. What did he say? Is we're up to 6 hits on that.
He said 82 catches, 8 touchdowns, and 600 yards. Considering
Pickens.
that he's sharing with a 1,200-yard running back and CD and Pickens is great. We definitely need
Tight end
a number 2 tight end. So
and Ferguson's good, it's good, but yeah, Schoonmaker's not there.
I'm genuinely surprised to see, like, not in a bad way. Just I'm surprised. So you're actually
he's on board here.
Him. Like,
well, yeah, I think he needs a second. I think he needs a. I agree with him. A second tight end will make Ferguson better too. Everybody gets better.
Rub into his Batman to be able to fully shine. So and that honestly.
That makes sense.
That's a pretty good argument.
That makes sense for him, right? If it was George Kittle, no, you don't need it.
So we don't have George Kittle. And I do kind of like this too, and I agree. I'm seeing a few comments here. DCR was also saying move Spanford up to
Spanford
cut Schoonmaker, and
Spanford plays fullback as well,
doing more.
Yeah, he plays fullback. He's getting catches. He had a touchdown. I'm just saying, like Schoonmaker had like one game. He had like 2 catches, and I think he had a touchdown for 1 yard.
I hope you're hitting the weight room because at least for me, the only thing I would like to say about Spanford is I would like to see him gain a little bit more weight and get a little bit more power.
But the thing about him is that he's helped in a big way at fullback. He'll be our second, like we don't have Lipke in. We'll have him as our second tight end. He'll go in motion, stop in the middle, and go into the and kind of block for Javonte Williams or any running back.
You can have some fun with his usage because of the fact that obviously you can have him.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say something a little dirty here. You can run both ways. Sorry.
So real quick, just so you guys get this here, George Pickens would be around. We'd save about $14 million, $15 million on a long-term deal for him, right? But if we don't, all right, let's just say we get the $28 million hit. Javonte Williams, all right, $8 million. That's what he comes out to. We know the cap is going to be closer to like $5 million. All right. When we get the full numbers on that, when closer to when the season starts, we'll see what it comes out to. But it's going to be about $5 million for him. So now we got those 2 guys out the way. Still don't know about Jadeveon Clowney. I'm hearing the cap hit with signing him long term would end up being about $8 million. If you want to keep someone like Clowney, I don't think he's really worth it. But at this point, with everything with the cap going up and a lot of players that used to be under 10 million, he's probably getting 10 million or 11 million a year for a year or two for a 2 or 3 year deal for someone like Jadeveon Clowney. When you look at the cap hit this year, probably about 8 million for him if we were to re-sign him. These are the expenditures I'm talking about here, right? 10 million for Pickens to 28 million. Let's say 12 to 28 million, depending on a long-term deal or not. Javonte Williams is going to hit us for about 5 million this year, and Clowney, if we re-sign him, the Joneses say they want to. Clowney would be about $8 million cap hit this year, maybe $10 to $12 million per year deal, maybe a 2 or 3 year deal.
By the way,
sorry, I want to stop there. Go ahead, baby.
Harley Dad
in the house, and his stinking Niners.
$5 holler. Thank you so much. He said, "Can we hear more MCW and less MCF?"
That's kind of the consensus, I think, on here. And don't worry, the wife.
One of these days we'll give the people what they want, and we'll reverse roles, and you
I'll just shut the fuck up. We've done that a couple of times. I gotta be careful the way that sounds. It doesn't sound great, but But yes,
I was say it started off as an MCF stream, quickly turned into an MCF After Dark stream.
Yeah, I know. We've had a couple of those on here, so yeah, I hear you, bro. More of the wife for sure, and I agree. Go ahead, baby. Hit it up. Yes.
No, that is one of the more unfortunate parts about our new schedule and kind of newer situation here with our adjustments. I'm not able to.
She can't do these late streams,
MCFing as I would like to be, but that doesn't mean I'm not any less cowboy. Just not,
Took a little power nap, and we got her going here.
Yeah, so. I mean, we made it happen. But I'm actually genuinely excited to talk Cowboys.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it's funny because I can't remember who it was, but someone asked in the chat. Anyway, Chris Plumage, like how I'm feeling about the new defensive coach and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like, are you feeling optimistic? And I'm like, I actually am feeling a little optimistic. Again, within the realm of Cowboys and the Joneses' allowances. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised so far. I would like to, hopefully we continue to be pleasantly surprised by what we do.
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you some, again, we talk a little salary cap here. You just heard me say some numbers.
Ooh.
But I know, I don't want to, is it too much pie? Anyways, you're right. Yeah. Listen, if we extend a couple players, a couple of our I'd say recruited players from last season. All right, if we pick up a couple of those guys and sign them, give them the extension that they probably gonna require, like the very great Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams, if we get him right now, he'd probably be, I forgot what his deal is at. It's very expensive, but with a long-term extension, and I'm saying an extra 2 years on his current deal. Maybe he's got 2 years left, I think. So you give him like 4 years, maybe 3 years. You give him an extra year at the end of his deal, and you up his numbers. This year, he'll only hit us for about $15.5 million. It might be a $27 million, investment over 3 years per year, but his cap hit this year will be $15.5 million. And same thing with Kenny Clark, maybe about $14.5 million on a shorter deal. So we maybe eat a little bit more of the cap on him this year. But Kenny Clark, a guy who really helps slow down the interior run defense. I don't know if you guys would like that. These are questions here, but that would be an extra $30 million we'd be able to open up on the cap if we were to get both these guys down to the $14 million range just by extending both of these guys. Now, it is a risk, but if you want to go for it now, it's a worth for me. You got to cut guys, to me, to save money as well. And the guys you got to cut are guys like Terrence Steele. I said it. Post June 1st cut pays for your rookies, all your rookies. Terrence Steele, that would be $30 million in more cap space. And so we get $30 million. I pay for our rookies. We pay for a couple later free agents, or maybe Pickens deal will be done by then. The point is, June 1st, we got a lot of time to get that money used properly, and we don't need Terrence Steele.
I honestly, if that's what we use the money for, we can just sign his future replacement and then pay everybody else once we move on from. Like, nothing's stopping us from moving on from him.
Right? No, and it's all on the wall on him.
It's like being married, but you're separated, but you already got a new side piece, and you're getting engaged at your divorce hearing type of shit. But hey. Cowboys, stay messy. Do you? Real quick, shout out Marco Seppian with another $5 holler.
There you go, Mr. Marco Seppian. The man, say thank you, sir, by the way, and big shout outs all the way out there.
So he said, I like the defensive coach, but I don't get this 3-4 talk.
Yep,
you need 3 boo-boos for the D-line. And we have one, and then we have one decent linebacker, and then we have Overshaw. We don't basically we don't have the personnel to execute this defense that they're saying that they want us to execute. We don't even have the personnel to execute the current defense that we're trying to execute. So
I hear you saying, hey, Mark, great points, and I agree. It's kind of scary to look at the 3-4 and see. We never used that in a long time. So it's going to see 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. I'm just going to tell you guys that the inside linebacker is going to play kind of a blitzing role. You're going to have 5, meaning the 2 defensive inside linebackers will be going in with the 3 down linemen. You can have 4. One of the 2 go in, linebackers, quote unquote linebackers, or just a 3-man line go in and drop the linebackers back into coverage. So you're looking at, that's the way this is going to be. Now, you got to have outside linebackers, going to be more of the coverage guys and securing the outside run game. Of course, helping inside as well, but securing the edge setting portion of things with the edge rushers. So again, because you don't have edge rushers, so those outside linebackers will also be used to go in there and blitz, get pressure, and then the inside linebackers will drop back in coverage. So you're going to use a lot of different unique changes. That's what Christian Parker said.
And it's hard to picture it, like you kind of pointed it out. We don't have the personnel, I think, right at this moment to be able to visualize it fully, like without a team. Does that make sense?
I'm going to give you a couple little kind of examples, I guess you could say, of what we can do. Because again, if you keep those 2 big guys, I don't know if we need to keep both of them in the 3-4.
Yeah.
But Quentin Williams would be a great 5 tech. I'm sorry, 3 tech, 5 tech, 3 tech. And, so a middle guy and then 2 outside guys and a 3 down lineman. I think Quentin Williams would be wrecking shit as one of the outside guys, and Kenny Clark inside with Osa as the other guy. Those would be our 3 down linemen. And you get help either on the outside on a pass down or on the inside from the inside linebackers on a run down. So I think there's going to be a lot of options with Christian Parker's kind of scheme. And I'll talk about that in a minute. It's coming up. I promise you. I'm still talking a little bit of cap, but the man Marco Seppian dropping it like it's hot.
No cap.
No cap on that. And D-Link down to 58 points on the stream, boss.
Thank you, Mark. He said the issue is that we have no one to replace Terrence Steele.
Well,
I would dump Osa, and I'm sorry, but he's our pass rush guy who gets 3 sacks in a season and then offers us zip and run defense.
Well,
so $20 million?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. I do think that the Cowboys are going to make that move we talked about a little bit last year. I think it's going to be done. They're going to cut Terrence Steele.
Okay.
We're going to save $30 million overall post June 1st. Remember this. What is Tyler Guyton's main spot on the offensive line? You guys remember?
Say I'm like, which Tyler?
Tyler Guyton, our left tackle.
But yeah,
Where's his number one spot he's played in his whole career?
Slipped. You said right tackle.
No, left tackle. No, okay,
left. Saying now when you mentioned
no, Terrence Steele is right tackle, but who is our left tackle? And that is Tyler Guyton. And Tyler Guyton, his normal natural position is right tackle. He's had some struggles on the left side, but now I think the Cowboys are going to put him at the Terrence Steele spot.
Hey, sometimes you can't fight nature.
And there's a guy in the draft that's 6'9", 350 pounds, and he's a monster out there. I forgot what his name is right now. I'm not really watching everything, but the Cowboys may be interested in someone like that to go and help, maybe draft someone like that in one of the first 2 picks, or you do have number 71. You guys remember? Oh shit, I can't believe I forgot his name, but he played on the outside. Well, he's a 7th round pick, and he played pretty well last year. Again, blindside for Dak Prescott for a whole season. I don't know if I trust that. But maybe I do trust him out there, Nate Thomas. I trust him, Nathaniel Thomas, more on the left side than Guyton on the left side. I'd rather have Guyton on the right side and Nathaniel Thomas on the left side, but I'd like to try to improve that left tackle spot. Anyways, I think the left tackle is the one we got to fix. I think Tyler Guyton goes to the right side. I'm sorry. What did Mr. Marco Sepien say?
Well, another big mahalo. Yeah. Marco Sepien with that $5 Holly said line for Liu Fao, I'm guessing that's what you meant to say, is a bust. Like I said when he was drafted, not worth a 3rd rounder. We need a strong draft. Too many draft busts these past few years. So I will make a small argument that Liu Fao is not yet fully a bust because the scheme basically screwed him over in the worst possible way this season. So, slate him as my potential comeback player of the year as far as from last year playing like shit. I think this year playing better.
I think Liu Fao is one of those guys that's going to play the right spot in this defense under Christian Parker's defense. He's going to be playing, I think, that, again, could blitz from the inside, can cover. It depends. I think wherever he's going to fit in the best, that's going to be his role of the 4 linebacker spots. Yeah. So I think that's going to be an important thing to kind of keep an eye on. I would not rule him out as a bust yet. I think there's a lot of usage for him. I truly do. And I just think he's kind of raw. He hasn't really hit that yet. He hasn't really hit the coach that can kind of craft him that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, first it was injury, and then it was coaching. So
last year was injury. 2 years ago was injury. Last year was coaching.
On the draft part, though, and especially the whole draft being a bust. That's why I said earlier.
Overall, we
my biggest fear is drafting a tight end in the 2nd round because that would be the worst thing. Actually, do we even have a 2nd round pick?
We do not this year, so you get the break from that.
I am marked safe from any 2nd round shenanigans from the Cowboys, unless we try to get cute and move down and all that.
I think we give it for Pickens. So let me just say this real quick. So Terrence Steele's an option to cut. I think he's definitely gone. The way the Cowboys have spoken, that's the way they're kind of leaning towards.
I actually wanted to remind everyone. You remember last year, Jerry made those little comments where he was like ranting and was like actually pissed and like out loud basically said that he regretted signing him and Dak.
No. Money. Was it Dak?
Yeah,
it
was.
Okay, it was Dak. That's right.
Basically, he was just being crazy, but but the thing is that
I thought it was. That's right. I said it would have been. I would have said more. What's his name with the leg? Gallup.
I know
that was a mistake.
No, this was just last year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was just pissed because he was like, these dudes aren't giving me what I want. And this was Dak coming fresh off of his injury year, and Terrence Steele coming fresh off of his bullshit.
2 years ago from his injury year, and then from a crappy year.
To point out that he just happened to be one of the players that Jerry specifically had in his mind about. I'm not getting what I want.
Yeah, so Terrence Steele going to be cut. I believe Booker goes in. I mean, not Booker, but I believe Tyler Guyton jumps in Terrence Steele's spot, the right tackle spot. And we have to figure out the left tackle spot. Like I said, Nathaniel Thomas, 71. Did a good job last year. We got TJ Bass inside as a backup. You know what I'm saying? We got Brock Hoffman inside as a backup. So we have some decent backups. I'd say the left tackle would be the outstanding spot, which is important. But Nate Thomas has been looking good last year against good players out there. Still, I'm still worried about a 7th rounder out there hanging out there. But what about other guys we can look to cut to save money? You guys want to pay Malik Hooker $7 million? I mean, he stayed kind of healthy for the most part, but he's old already. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't want.
I don't think so, right? You cut him, you get $7 million back. Logan Wilson, a guy we traded for last year, traded away a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, we can trade.
He's $6.55 million. The coaches was supposed to put him in the start. He didn't put him until the fourth quarter in one game. Just the poor guy just didn't get used properly. He's a leading tackler for the Bengals, like 5 years in a row. So that's something we might have to look into a little bit more. But he is $6.55 million saved on the cap. Brian Anger, we can cut him. He's $3.1 million. I know he's the punter. I know he's all pro. We can cut him for $3.1 million and still keep him here on a cheap kind of deal. Maybe get him for like $2 million. You know what I'm saying? We can cut him and bring him back because he's vested veteran. And Jonathan Mingo, a guy we traded a 4th-round pick away for a couple of years ago. We probably used him. I think he has 5 catches in 2 years. $1.96 million is the only. We cut him. That's the savings we get from Mingo. It's maybe not even worth it. But that's $2 million a year. So when you look at all this, not much to from. When you look at this, the overall board here of guys on our team, and I just want to say one last part in a minute. But we got the man Marco Seppian dropping some comments here.
Another mahalo with the $2 holler. Saying Steele might take a pay cut. I heard. It's funny. I have complicated feelings over that, just because if the whole reason we're moving on from him is that we're not getting what we want and the O-line performance just isn't quite there,
then why would
you're basically saying I'm willing to accept mediocrity as long as it's cheap. I don't want that on my own line. Yeah. Cheap out at other spots potentially, not at your right tackle.
And left tackle. Left tackle is a 7th-round pick, so it's a little scary.
Cheap out at that position. Cheap out with your usual, with Nate Thomas, just to bring him up as easy in the sense of
he's doing good
your usual 7th-round wonder kid who you end up paying $3 in a Coke can to be your right tackle that plays slightly above average, if that.
Right. Well, in this
slightly
case,
too average. You get my point, though. I would rather deal with that than accept the bullshit from Terrence Steele. And honestly, the problem is, with all this, you got me excited at the thought of Tyler Guyton potentially playing right tackle. I'm excited and wanting that. And it's hard to really make an argument against.
Seabass is saying Guyton's used to right tackle from college. He said no donut or hooker. They're old and slow. Logan Wilson is mid and slow. So just give me some names on that list. I didn't have Donovan Wilson, but he is a guy also that could be cut for a couple dollars, is what I'm trying to say. So when you look at the rest of so you're looking at right now, we're $30 million over the cap. I'm sorry, over the cap. But the Cowboys pull all these levers and these restructure levers, which has nothing to do with the players. They get their money the same no matter what. It's more the way we put it out on the cap. We put this in their contracts. With Dak Prescott, hit the button. Goes from $60 million a year to 30. We save $30.9 million. CeeDee Lamb, we save $19 million if we restructure his deal. Tyler Smith, restructure his deal, $17.6 million. This is the one Mark's not going to like. Osa Odigizua, who we're paying $20 million. We get him for $8 million this year, but we got to push that $12 million forward. But we save it this year, $12 million. If we do that with Osa, if we cut Osa, we got to eat $20 million. And that's not going to happen. So I'm sorry, Mark. But yeah, we're keeping Osa. If we restructure him, we save $12 million. Deron Bland, we restructure him, we save $8.69 million. And Jake Ferguson, if we restructure him, we save $4.88 million. I think we get him for $7-8 million on the cap this year. So these 6 guys, Dak, CeeDee, Tyler Smith, Jake Ferguson, that's our offense, Osa and Deron Bland, these 6 guys, if we restructure them, we free up $93 million just like that. And that's without the extensions. That's without the moving the money around with some of our guys you already have. That's without the cuts. So right there, you're already at $60 million plus, in the green right now. And then, I guess in the black. And then you look at this here, and then you make a couple extra little moves here, a couple cuts, you're at 80, 90. You know what I'm hearing? The Cowboys wanted to kind of go all in this year. Again, the current cap space is we are over by $32 million. The max restructures we can get on those 6 guys is $93 million. We cut the guys I mentioned, maybe Donovan Wilson, it's about 30. Let's say we replace Donovan Wilson with Anger or something like this, with Brian Anger. But my point is that we save about $30 million on cuts. So right there, you got what? 93. You got 123 right there. Then if we extend a couple of these guys, you can get up to $25 to $30 million on top of that. Which again, I want to just say, let's say we Frank Clark, we let him go, but we restructure Quentin Williams. I would. It's $15 million on top of that. The total cap space on these numbers would be around $121 million when everything's broken down. But the NFL, guys, again, when you look at the Cowboys currently lead all 32. This is a kind of a new little statistic, and it's very important. The Cowboys lead all 32 NFL teams at $131 million in potential cap space. Number one in the NFL. This is done through basic restructures I just mentioned. Philadelphia is a little behind. They're actually way behind. They only have $236,000 to spend when it comes to all these. They don't have any restructures. They're screwed. So this data comes in as the NFL cap, again, jumps to $303.5 million, giving teams like Dallas, like Detroit, who is second on this list at $128 million. Kansas City's $109 million, Tampa Bay $107 million, and Minnesota $104 million with restructures, with those cuts and those kind of things. Basic restructures, basic cuts. You get about $131 million for the Cowboys if the Cowboys really wanted to go all in this year. And we've seen teams like Detroit do this. And, they just fell a little short. But I'm willing to go and risk it. I'm willing to go risk it right now. $131 million. Let's pay Pickens. Let's, even if it's 1 year, whatever it is, let's get Pickens. Let's get all the guys we need in this on defense. Let's improve this team. And again, yes, in the end, the negative in this is that these costs in the future are going to hit us. And there's risks of dead money and voided players, especially if we cut guys or let them go. We got to eat the cap. And we got to, like Zeke, we're paying on his contract. We paid on his contract like 3 years after he was gone. So it's just, those are the issues there. You got to be careful about signing these guys with the restructures. But every guy I said, other than maybe Osa, I think is a valuable restructure.
Yeah.
And even Osa saving $12 million. All right, maybe you don't want to, but it's not going to kill us that much when you throw that $12 million forward and split it into 3 years. That's $4 million more a year. So again, to me, the Cowboys will, if they max it out or get close to this number of $131 million open on the cap, it's an all-in. There's no excuse. We got to go all in. That's it. And if we don't go all in, which I don't expect us to, another frustrating year for the Cowboys is expected by my side of
things. I guess all in is very relative.
Yeah, the Jerry Jones all in, no.
All in.
The normal or
Jerry's
all in
is just the tip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The glory hole, it cuts off an inch,
Yeah, the glory hole for old Jerry. But any comments in the chat about this particular thing, baby? About no?
I mean, it just we're having a few different discussions here, but real quick, no, just Seabass is like, Eberflus is like more of the we like our guys than the Joneses are, and we saw what he did, and that kept those two baboons in the game. Oh, so I know we're talking about the not quite the Wonder Twins, you could say. But yeah, there's no reason Sam and Murray should have played as much.
Yeah, they're both off the team, though. That's Everflux guys, like you said there, Seabass, 100%.
So definitely glad to be away from that. So.
By the way, I just saw something. I just want to say something a little bit different from this here, but we're halfway to the goal, to the bullseye, guys. It says 29 minutes. It's really when the stream ends, but we're 10 away from hitting the goal, and everybody gets thrown in that raffle, unless, the only way we get it is if everyone gets, hit the 20 on that. So we always also have that we call it the John Luna drop, which is just someone who takes over the last 10 in one drop. Then everybody else gets in automatically. Everyone's in the jersey raffle that donated $5 or more tonight. So just wanted to throw it out there so everyone knew. Now, I don't know if any other comments in the chat, but I want to kind of keep it rolling because and I want to make sure we say that some kind of injury news, unfortunately. I want to start with offense, and it's Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, guys, he had, you talked about Overshown a little bit, but Tyler Smith had cleanup surgery on his right knee.
Oh, he's the one who I got mixed up when we were talking about Overshown with the labrum and the hip, but I know somebody had a knee surgery.
So yeah, Tyler Smith had cleanup surgery on his right knee, but it was after the Pro Bowl, so it was right before the Super Bowl. And again, he said it. His agent said it. His Cowboys have said it. He's going to be 100% ready for the OTAs offseason program. So again, this is a minor cleanup. No big deal, no big surgery, nothing nothing bad. Actually healthy, and makes him actually healthier and able to stay the whole year with this cleanup done so early. He dealt with this issue throughout the year, and that's what you guys are saying, I think. And again, dressed but did not play against the Jets, missed that game because of the same issue. But it sounds like the offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams, kind of wants to keep Tyler Smith. And remember, Tyler Smith was playing left tackle a little bit, but he wants to keep him at left guard.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of what we expected. But Clayton Adams, because Tyler Smith staying at left guard, no ifs, ands, or buts on that. And then the other player I got to talk about here, and I don't have his picture, but he's entering his second year here, needs this offseason to kind of bulk up and get bigger. Second round pick, Donovan Escurazu. He undergoes surgery. I think this is what Marco Seppian was talking about, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Was Donovan Ezuraku. He undergoes surgery. And he is now going to be out possibly until training camp. So he's going to miss all the OTAs. He's, you know what I'm saying? It's not just, this guy, that it's actually very important players. Escoraz is now going to miss is going to miss all the OTAs. They're saying basically he's 5 weeks removed from the surgery. So you go back 5 weeks from now, you are looking at the end of February, but maybe a week after the Super Bowl ended. But why did it take so long? I don't know. But hip surgery, guys, Cowboys going to be without one of their key defenders, pass rusher Donovan Escoraz, and again with the surgery on his hip labrum. I think that's where miscommunication is. And this is going to prevent him from, he'll be there, he'll be an attending there, but he will not be able to do the workouts. He's not going to be able to participate in the OTAs. And again, probably they're saying will not be ready for minicamp, but expected to be ready for training camp in Oxnard in July. That's the real one that matters.
It's the important part. Like OTAs and the other stuff, as long as you're around. But the most important thing is just,
to me, the second-year guy like him who needs to build that man muscle. Let me put it that way, because again, that first year they got that kid muscle from college. Still, the second year though, they get a full NFL workout and off-season training that he's missing.
I know.
And that's a killer for us.
And this,
I know. There's nothing we can do about it.
We can hope for just that this is the best case
scenario. I know. It just sucks.
Hopefully, fully participate in training camp and do.
I'm just
saying, hopefully, and be able to work his way.
He's gonna have to do the scheme stuff too, though, because the new scheme. So learning the scheme, the bulking up, these are things he's gonna miss. I'm just letting you know. Maybe people are gonna be like, "Well, he's a bust," or he's not that good. But we got to remember what he's actually dealing with here. And the thing is he going to be, in tune there with the scheme while he's watching it on the sidelines and ready to go when he gets on that field in training camp? Will he be able to just get in there and do what he does under this new scheme on defense? That's a question we got to wait and see on, right? So both these injuries on offense, the one Tyler Smith, not a big deal, but Donovan Escoraz, a lot bigger of an issue. Why did he wait this long? I don't know, or not this long, but 5 weeks ago he did it. Again, he could have gotten it 5 weeks earlier than that. He could have been there for the mini camp. But I think he just figured I'll be ready to go 100% by training camp, and that's what he was kind of focusing on. Although to me, I'm with Marco Seppian there on that.
It's not like they really said what the reasoning was for waiting, either second opinions or whatever. I'm just saying,
like you said, it could have been the working out as well, but that was a lot of working out then for him. There's a lot of working out.
No, but I'm just saying, like we've seen before where, players maybe want to avoid surgery, so they visit a bunch of doctors just to get different opinions and see if it's, I'm just saying, like
that with the working out and saying getting the muscles around the torn or hurt areas, makes the rehab faster on the back end. But either way, we move over now to the part of the show where we talk about maybe some of the comments. I want to say comments, but only comments because of Jerry and Steven, but they're related to our free agency.
Okay.
And what we're going to do. That's important now. We talked about the salary. We talked about almost everything. But let's talk about what Jerry Jones said about free agency. And it wasn't just him. It was also Steven Jones. It was the clown show. But Jerry Jones acknowledged it was a mistake not to re-sign nickel cornerback Jordan Lewis last season. So he said, we made a mistake by not keeping him. And we never really made any really big moves to replace him. We had journeymen or rookies that haven't played or guys in their second year that haven't played at basically as not only the backup, but a starter out there on the field.
Yeah, and say
So
if you want about Jordan Lewis, but that man was a dog.
yeah, he was out there playing hard. So when that's one player, right? What about Jadeveon Clowney this year? And we lost Jordan Lewis last year, but this past year, Jadeveon Clowney now a free agent. Jerry Jones was asked about this, about re-signing Jadeveon Clowney, and it sounded like Jerry and Stephen both said that they're still evaluating how he would fit into Christian Parker's defense.
Sounds like Christian Parker
Yep.
doesn't have a use for Clowney.
You got to remember, Clowney's a bigger guy, and they want a faster guy at the edge. He's not going to be able to play a 3-4, but he can't play linebacker either. So a pure edge rusher is not necessarily what you want. You don't want a DeMarcus Lawrence in this situation. You want three bigger guys in the front like we have already. So Jadeveon Clowney may be just stuck in between a 3-4 right now. Now, again, unless they call him an outside linebacker and blitz him every time. But again, right now they're trying to see if he can fit into the defense. With the new defensive coordinator, remember, we have 4 new defensive coordinators in the last 4 years. Every year we've had a new defensive coordinator. It was Quinn, and then we had what's his name that came over, Zimmer last year, Eberflus. Now we have Parker. So 4 guys in a row. Not that Clowney matters, because Clowney been with 10 different teams.
Yeah,
but
you see what Eberflus did? He made us forget about Zimmer.
Yeah, never forget Mike Nolan way back. So the thing is that. And they don't make us forget about Marinelli. So, anyways,
I make a joke in the chat that I wanted, the little X-Men like memory eraser things. I'm like, I want one of those to forget what our play calling was like. Like, give me one of those to forget our defensive shit.
So again, when you look at the Clowney situation, guys, the Joneses said that there have been no contracts talks yet with Jadeveon Clowney. So that's, again, initially they did last time we were live. Cowboys were interested. They were like, we're looking into signing him next, and all of a sudden, boom, Christian Parker's there, and all of a sudden, not as much talk with Clowney anymore. No deal, no contract talk with him at all. Now, I do want to say when it comes to our own guy, we talked about, Jordan Lewis losing him in free agency, Jadeveon Clowney probably losing him to free agency. What about Overshown? Now, again, he's got 2 more years with the Cowboys, but, is there a deal on the table for Overshown? Let me just put him up on the screen. Agent Zero. So when you see Overshown in the house, the projection is that he's going to get around a 3-year, $24 million deal, similar to what we just discussed with the running back situation with Javonte
Williams.
Javonte Williams. Yeah, 3 years, $24 million is what we paid him. Now, I don't think he's going to get that little necessarily for Overshown, but the problem is he's 26 years old with high upside. Great. But multiple devastating injuries for Overshown. So that might help bring that price to about $8 to $10 million range, or, what I'm saying? They're saying $8 million per year for 3 years for Overshown. Probably next year or close to that. So just an idea there. What were you going to say?
No, that sounds about
right risk?
Right, in the sense of, I think it strikes a good balance between, kind of jumping a little early and showing him that we kind of believe in him type of thing or whatever, pricing him fairly where he's at, and also taking into account the pretty big risk that the Cowboys are taking. Like, to me, I'm more thinking so that it would be like 24 guaranteed, basically.
Oh, I don't know. No. No, it wouldn't be 24. It was 24 million as a total.
Okay, so then yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that we don't know what the deal is. The thing is, you wait one more year. I don't think you give him the deal this year. That's a Terrence Steele, Michael Gallup move. You give the deal.
I'm like, it feels like Michael Gallup.
Gotta give him 1 year fully in there and see what he can do. And once he does that, one more, 1 full year, then you can give him that better money deal, that $8 million a year for 3 years. But again, you got to keep in mind those injuries. We don't want another Jalen Smith on our hands, right? So now I mentioned that in the
Cowboys don't do more 2-year deals for that team.
Oh, the players don't want them. They want 3 or more. So look, the thing is this, and again, I guess the players want they want short deals, but they want it to end. The thing is, they want it to end on the new money year, which is in a couple of years from now. Like a 2 or 3 year deal brings you to free agency when the contract deals kick in again.
Okay.
So that's a lot of players are going around that. So you're looking at 2 and 3 year deals probably more than anything. So here's the thing, though.
Thank you, baby. That explains a lot.
When it comes to the Off-season deals. What free agency stuff are the Cowboys going to do? Anything at all? Anything? Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this. Very hard to figure out, baby. Well, you tell me what you think about this. Stephen Jones. Yeah, there he is. Stephen Jones says that the offseason approach is not changing.
Correct.
That's what Stephen Jones said. So that means more of the same old, same old. That's Stephen Jones. Jerry Jones said this, quote, and he said this after Stephen Jones, quote, I can see us being aggressive in free agency. I would bet that we will spend more money in free agency than we ever have. That's the Jerry Jones, and that is the Stephen Jones, the Joneses. Motherfucking clown show, guys.
So either
Clown
Stephen is lying, and Jerry pulled
I
Jerry
think
and basically
Jerry fucked up.
let the cat out of the bag, as he has before.
I think Jerry, they're not going to spend shit.
The Joneses are being the Joneses, and they're just playing us from both sides.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Stephen Jones said.
We've seen Jerry slip up a few times, though, and kind of like.
Yeah, but Jerry said we're all in last year. It is all in. So think about what Jerry's saying. We're going to be aggressive in free agency. That means we're going to get a guy at $7 million instead of $6 million. That's what aggressive. Not the $20 million guy. We're going to get the $7 million guy over the $6 million. That's what you got to look in the minds of Jerry Jones in this situation. You know what I mean? So looking at it like that, I mean, there's no question. I think
at the same time, if you planned on making a lot of dramatic changes and making big moves, if you're Stephen Jones, would you really be putting it out there?
No, you wouldn't. But I think that a lot of people. I mean, if you say you're not making any moves, no one really knows you're making moves or not. If you say you're going to make a lot of moves and be aggressive, then does that affect you? No, but it just means that it shouldn't affect any of your deals you have. It's more about, is it affecting you giving away your plan? Nobody really cares what that plan is, if you could be aggressive or not. It's more for the fans. So anyways, the point is, and I keep it moving here, guys. I know everyone's in the chat. Hopefully everybody hitting that like button.
Yes.
And subscribe, that notification bell. Shout outs to everybody on the board right now, people that dropped the love tonight. And we're, again, I'll count over to the end. We need 10 more hits on the goal board there, but we got D-Link, Skeptical Fan, Mark Hosepian, and Harley Dad. Appreciate you guys. D-Link repping it with 51 points on the Stream Boss, Skeptical Fan, King of the Cash App, and leading. Indian Boogie's our lifting champion. As you can see, our sponsor of the quarter is Mr. J.D. Burton.
Also, a huge shout out to the sponsor of the quarter. Yes, J.D. Burton.
Yes.
We got the Stream Boss, D-Link, and Skeptical Fan.
Yeah, I just
literally. I know, but it sounds better when I say it.
Yeah, I guess some people like you to say it.
And I actually, I was going to say it, and then you said it anyway, and I just kind of felt some way about it. So I'm like, I'm going to say it anyway.
Well, let's talk about free agency. Because free agency is the one, we're going to have to replace, the linebackers we cut. Logan Wilson's going to probably be a cut. So, let's talk about a little bit of what the Joneses are going to be. They're going to be aggressive or not? Well,
what's this aggression, Jerry?
Let's start with linebacker for a second. Since we talk about some cuts here, linebacker included like Kenneth Murray, Sanborn, and Logan Wilson. There's a strong belief that the Eagles, quote unquote, star linebacker Nakobe Dean, a guy we like that went in the third or fourth round, when he should have been a first rounder, will sign somewhere else other than Philadelphia this offseason.
That was the one that Mark Hosepian said that he wanted us to get.
Okay, so let me say, the Eagles linebacker is someone to watch as a green dot player. So as the captain of the defense in the middle of a defense. So basically, he's the play caller. All right, and again, he's an Eagle. You guys remember who his coach was last year?
Try not to hold it against him.
But what was his coach last year?
Parker, first name Christian.
Yes. So if anybody's going to know how to communicate, it's going to be someone like Nakobe Dean. I'm hearing the Cowboys, hey, Mark must be listening, because the Cowboys are monitoring the top of the pass rush free agent options and Nakobe Dean and linebacker options as well. So again, they are not guaranteed to spend big, although you're hearing Jerry Jones say we are and Stephen Jones say we're not. But according to multiple sources, Mike Garafolo, which is a NFL source there, the Cowboys are going to go after a guy like Nakobe Dean at linebacker and a guy who's a pass rusher, edge rusher type guy at some point. Jeremy Fowler said the Cowboys are on, quote, Nakobe Dean watch. They'll also be in the market, not just for linebackers, but for also the top pass rushers, as I kind of said. And don't forget some safeties and defensive backs as well. So when you look at this, guys, Nakobe Dean to me would be the top of the list linebacker free agent to pick up out there. I'm not sure how much he would cost. I know he's banged up he was injured a little bit for his first season, but now that he's a free agent, would you guys want to pick up someone like Nakobe Dean? Green Dot knows Christian Parker. It'd be like one of Christian Parker's guys, but he is a guy that's done well when he's played out there and been healthy. So that's an option there for the
Let me give you
Cowboys.
the long answer. Yes. Let me give you the short answer. Yes.
I want to hear what I want to hear what the chat has to say too in a minute. But there's another option today, literally today, hours before we went live. The Giants released linebacker and their defensive captain. I forgot his first name. I forgot his name, but his name is Okereke. I can never say his name. Okereke. He's a linebacker. He started 46 games in 3 years with the Giants and recorded 385 tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 4 interceptions. Not saying I want him. Just saying another option, kind of a fill in the Logan Wilson, that spot of players. You can't just run on guys that are injury prone.
No.
Or are a little bust like Lil Fowl, or injury prone like
Considering we're
Overshown.
rebuilding so much of our defense, I'm not exactly opposed to grabbing a few players that
Right. But Nakobe Dean
Parker is already familiar with.
Well, again, that's what I'm trying to say. The Giants guy, they're not. I'm saying, but Nakobe Dean would be a guy they're familiar with. So I would prefer a Kobe Dean pickup than the Giants, Bobby Okereke linebacker
said,
pickup.
I want Dean or Lloyd, but the Cowboys will sign a fifth stringer. Call it a day.
That's probably what's going to happen. That's why I don't waste time with free agency until we know more, until it's signed, because Cowboys talk so much shit, and we can sit here for days bullshitting you. But ain't the truth.
Wave of moves made.
Rarely ever. And if we are, we're still going cheap. And then the Cowboys also said that we talked about linebacker, right? Nakobe Dean from the Eagles, I think would be the best fit with our current defensive coordinator, Bobby Okereke from the Giants, who's their captain, their team. He's their defensive captain. But the Cowboys also looking at defensive edge rushers, and the Vikings today are now open to trading their Pro Bowl edge rusher, Jonathan Greenland. All right, so again, they want to keep Greenland, but they also have salary cap issues that they're trying to work through that have led to trade conversations. So another option there if you want to trade for someone. And of course, as you guys know already, there's the big option to trade for someone like Max Crosby. A lot of word been out there about this.
There's been a lot of talk about Crosby being somehow aligned
with the Cowboys. Yeah, I just don't see the Cowboys making that kind of huge move unless they're going to use those first round picks. Would you trade away your 12th pick of the draft for Max Crosby and the money's going to cost?
No, and honestly, I was going to point out, usually when we hear about this type of stuff, it feels like the Cowboy rumors flow both ways, so to speak. Like the Cowboys kind of play into some of that hype. This Crosby stuff, you could put a brick wall between the Cowboys and him. It's been not just radio silence, but very atypical that the Cowboys haven't even mentioned him or brought him up or tried to tease. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not even a tease, not even a tickle. Very not Cowboy behavior. So just throwing that out there. I don't think there's going to be much to it, just because, like you kind of said, it just is not worth it. And our Cowboy team values their draft picks way more than they would value any kind of value that Crosby could give us, in my personal opinion.
Interesting.
Our draft board is set, and I don't think it involves Crosby. And the last time that we used the first round pick on a player was Amari Cooper, and that was for a mid-season trade. And I think that in the end, Stephen Jones ended up regretting it himself, and he was the one who pitched it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't see Stephen Jones specifically falling for the Crosby shit. So that's my 2 cents.
I'm curious to what
for inflation.
I'm curious what the chat thinks about this part of things here. Why is it not doing this? Yeah, I'm curious what the chat thinks, maybe.
Well,
when it comes to any Max Crosby, because that's something a lot of the people want to, we're talking about a little bit, but I don't know if I'm that, I
mean, I have to be honest. I'm going to give our chat a lot of credit because no one really
brought
him up other than just once to mention,
Okay, I just want to make sure we hit on that because I know some people were asking about if that's a possibility or not, but Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see and that's a good thing that we don't have a lot of people clamoring for someone like, Max Crosby. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I see Scorpio saying I go for Trey Henderson. There's a couple guys still out there you can still pick up as pass rushers. Trey Henderson from the Bengals, solid. You know what I'm saying? Would have no issue with, you know, utilizing him in the proper way. I think in this defense as well, pass rusher. But that's going to be a question that is going to be answered by, by Christian Parker and this defensive squad here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. When I look at the other needs the Cowboys have, because the Cowboys have but I mean, there it is. The Cowboys have a bunch of needs, of course. I mentioned a couple, right? But another name that was thrown around was an Arizona Cardinal player, Mark Hosepian, with another
Oh,
5 on it.
hey, the Cardinals just have.
What?
Sorry, the way that you said it made it sound like the player you're talking about was Marco Sepien. And I was gonna.
Because I know.
Okay, it just
I get
worked
it.
out perfectly. I
Yeah,
thought that was funny.
Marco Sepien at it again. What's up, brother? And the man, again, you don't see the goal there. I can't put the goal up, but I am counting it. Trust me.
So,
So I'm trying to fix the goal, but
shout out there, Mr. Hosepian. And he said with his $5 holler, Crosby is a guy you get like Haley. That last piece.
mm,
We have so many holes. I'd welcome the 2 second-round tenders for TJ Bass and then Bailey.
no, you get. I think you
Or,
get
and Aubrey.
1 second round
Yeah.
pick for Bass. Yeah,
Yeah, so so it wouldn't be 2 1s and 2 2s. It'd be 2 1s and 1 2
yeah. If
if
you
the
get Pickens,
Pickens
yeah,
thing, and then that happens.
yeah,
So
and you get 1 first round pick in 27 and 1 first round pick in 28. I think that's the way it would go. So
yeah, it's kind of hard for a team to give you 2 first-round picks in 1 year unless they happen to be like us.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. There's a chance to pick up a lot of picks and still keep a lot of the star players you have on your team, which I think is, with the way the Cowboys usually do things, I think it's a better way to go in a way. So, anyways, I was gonna,
Oh, and Japanese also said Crosby would be nice, but let's be honest, it's not happening.
and that's my big thing. I just don't think that that's gonna be a realistic. It's not. I don't think it's a realistic situation.
And if it somehow did happen on the off chance, I would
There it
be
goes.
flabbergasted, genuinely surprised
Together.
if it somehow did happen.
Hmm. Let me make sure I got this here. Okay, I got it now. So yeah, I think it says 10, but we got it down to 9. We can hit a couple more, and we got this on the raffle there. You can see it over there right now. I think people can see it, right? It should be showing up.
It's shown.
Okay, good. So I'm sorry, guys. I was just trying to work on this for you guys to make sure we got it up to date.
We'll just count it as 9, obviously.
Yes, it's 9. We're at 9 right now, even though it says 10. But I wanted to throw out another couple of names that are definitely being scouted by the Cowboys right now. And Jeremy Fowler, another NFL reporter, mentioned Jalen Thompson from the Arizona Cardinals as a potential target for the Cowboys. And again, this guy, you got to remember, he's a defensive back, safety, but he's more of a chess piece safety.
Okay.
So let me explain. Jalen Thompson from the Arizona Cardinals. It makes a lot of sense the Cowboys are looking to target him in free agency. Number one, Cowboys defensive backs coach Ryan Smith. We talked about him on the last stream. He came from Arizona, so there's familiarity there. He knows him already.
And you already heard me say that that's a big plus in a year where we're rebuilding a lot.
Right. So if you get someone like Nakobe Dean, go with Christian Parker, one guy of his guys. You get one of Ryan Smith's defensive backs, safety, and you could get rid of a Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson type, right? So you get Jalen Thompson moved in here. He knows the coach. He knows Ryan Smith, the defensive backs coach, would be a perfect chess piece in this Christian Parker secondary. And let me tell you what he plays. This is very important. He's a true versatile defensive back. He can play slot corner. That helps a lot, especially with our cornerback issues. He's also played high safety, meaning like a free safety, deep safety. He's also played in the box I won't say linebacker, but basically as a big safety, making, coming like a Donovan Wilson type, plays in the box. So again, can stop the run, can blitz if need to in the box, can also play almost like an extra linebacker in the box. And then you also have him playing deep safety, free safety. You can also play him slot corner. He can't play outside corner, but anything on the inside, and let's say hash marks and back and in is his area. He can play any position there.
He sounds like a injury insurance dream. No, in the sense of like, if you have something happen at basically any of those spots, you could easily have him go
shift everything around
the way that he can,
and shift them around as needed. Now, one other player I want to throw in the mix there, because again, we could bring someone like him in here. I don't care what position they label him as. All right, he can still play corner, box safety, or free safety, strong safety, free safety. And you can also pick up another safety. You want to get rid of Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker? Well, use that money to get guys like Jalen Thompson. And what about a guy like PJ Locke? PJ Locke, guys, one of the names that Cowboys also have expressed interest in. So again, a lot of this stuff here would depend on what we do with Donovan Wilson. So if Donovan Wilson stays in Dallas, PJ Locke probably is not going to get picked up. You might get someone like Jalen Thompson, but you're not going to get PJ Locke.
Okay.
But the Donovan Wilson situation sounds like it's like on and off. So it looks like it's an unknown. He's probably asking for a lot of money. They get someone like PJ Locke, easily replace him. So again, you're seeing here two safeties. One that's a true safety, one that can do a lot of different things at the safety role, but he's really playing every spot. And I think both these guys would at least one of these guys would make sense with the Cowboy defense under Christian Parker. But again, I'm not diving too deep into this. I'm not going to give you these star names. That's why I'm not going to focus on Max Crosby.
Yeah,
because it's not realistic. These guys I just mentioned, much more realistic. Not saying it's going to happen, but the Cowboys are expressing interest. That just means, quote unquote, due diligence, which means probably not going to sign anybody. But I got to give you a couple true names that's out there, and some real stuff that's possible. And those are realistic names there that I just threw out there for you. I'm sure there's a lot more, but right now those are the ones I got on my short list. And we'll, as the free agency kicks off, we're going to go live on free agent days when we start signing guys, and we're going to talk about that.
There's probably players that we don't even know are quite available yet, just because teams haven't started making their moves.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wait for all that to pan out, and then obviously the Cowboys will then do their thing.
I want to show you guys the coaching staff right here. See the coaching staff, and again, I know it's a tiny little page there, but Cowboys filled in all the coaching staff spots. You see the new coaching staff that we have in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Bravo Brown, assistant wide receiver coach. All right. Jamal Mutagata, he's the assistant running backs coach. Powell Fuller, assistant offensive line coach. Only 3 new coaches on offense. Nothing on special teams. No new coaches on special teams. No new strength and conditioning coaches. But you're going to hear me say a shitload of coaches now on defense. But first, the man Marco Seppi striking again. We're down to 8. We need 8 more hits of 5 or more, and we hit that goal.
Hello again, Mark, and he said, we can't put second-round tenders on Bass and the kicker at the same time.
No.
So there's a free agent safety from Philly as well. And what's up with Logan? I thought that he was solid.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid tackler. The Cowboys mismanaged him last year with Everfluss. What a mismanagement. He was supposed to start in one of the games at the end of the season, and they didn't play. They didn't realize until the fourth quarter.
Imagine
That's
forgetting
coaching.
You didn't start your guy.
That's a coaching issue. I don't even have. I deleted all of Kyle Everfluss's pictures on the computer for the for the streams and stuff. I can't stand the guy. So you look at offense, a lot of only 3 new coaches, but on defense, Christian Parker, defensive coordinator, Derek Ansley, defensive pass game coordinator, Dimitri Brim, assistant defensive line coach, JJ Clark, assistant linebacker coach. He's one of the few holdovers. I think the only holdover. Marcus Dixon, defensive line coach, Robert Muschamp, assistant secondary coach, Ryan Smith, I talked about him from Arizona, secondary coach, defensive backs coach, Scott Simons, inside linebacker coach, and Chidera Uzu-Duribi, the outside linebacker coach. All these guys are first-year Cowboy, coaches.
Okay.
And Dimitri Brim, assistant defensive line coach, Scott Simons, inside linebacker coach, and our outside linebacker coach, all first-year coaches.
Wow.
In the NFL. That's going to be interesting. So when you look at this list,
the only way to learn is by
trying it out. I mean, again, I'm going to have to trust Christian Parker. By the way, And I want to make sure Scott Simons, I want to say that he's one of the newer additions, the Cowboy coaches. He's from SMU, which is right down the street, Southern Methodist University. Yeah. Defensive coordinator, he's their defensive coordinator. Now he's become the Cowboys' new inside linebackers coach. So he seems to kind of be in the mix already.
I will say,
I have no trouble with
we
that.
Can't sit here and argue and say that we want the Cowboys to do something different and then turn around and then get upset when they allow their coach the freedom to do something different.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you gotta let them. You gotta trust them.
For better or for worse, this is a lot of new blood and new shit that they're bringing into the defensive building in this way. So let's see how it pans out.
Well, now we want to talk about scheme. Let's talk about, as we move away from the coaches a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about scheme because, and again, one last thing I want to add about a coach. This is important though. Coach Brandon Jordan. You guys know who that is? We talked about it. We actually had a lot of his videos up here. He's helped the Cowboy defensive line pass rushing crew there for very many long years in like off-season training.
Like off-season, like individual one-on-one training and stuff.
Yeah, Brandon Jordan. He's an independent guy. He today said, quote, "Blessed to be the pass rush consultant for America's team." So you don't see him on this list, but he is a consultant for the offseason here. So he's working only with the Cowboys now.
Official capacity.
Yeah, that's different than in the past, guys. So that's big there. So that's good to see.
I wonder what changed to make him interested enough to be part of it. Because honestly, we've had questions for years why he hasn't just officially been. Well,
yeah, that's Brandon Jordan. No, the other guy we had was
Am I thinking of a different?
Yeah, the offensive line guy was.
Sorry. So can I take it back?
Yeah, Brandon Jordan is, I think, from the pass rush specialty stuff. You see all the pass rush guys kind of working there from all over the NFL. Now it's only Dallas.
Still a big deal that again we're prioritizing this in this way.
Yeah, specialists. There's a pass rush consultant specialist basically. So you got him. You got that inside linebacker coach. Those are the last two pieces. We filled it up. You see it there, pretty much done. And it's all been assembled pretty much, I would say, by Christian Parker. And I'm going to remind you who he is, former Eagle, but now Cowboy. And, hey, listen, the Eagles lost their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. He retired. They wanted to replace their defensive coordinator with Christian Parker. He was next in line, ready to go. They had the headset ready and everything, and poof, off to Big D, baby. So now he's in Dallas. So what's happening? Cowboys defensive coordinator Christian Parker said this, because he did have a press conference. I'm not going to go through all the bullshit, but the important stuff I will go through. And he did say, quote, "We're going to be multiple on defense this year, but we'll be in a 3-4 by nature." And just so you guys understand what that means, well, yes, 3 down fat linemen, all right? A Quinnen Williams, a Clark, and an Oso. That's always going to be the case, all right? But then, whether it's the inside linebackers, usually probably outside linebackers coming in as the 4th and 5th pass rushers. You guys feel me on this? You might want to put all 5 up. You might want to even move up your inside linebackers to stop the run on first down. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of multiple looks you can give with a 3-4 scheme and linebackers that fit the bill. That's why we're still waiting to see, is David Clowney going to work as an edge rusher / outside linebacker? Probably not. That's not his thing. So what we're seeing now, and Christian Parker did mention this, baby. We talked about him, and Mark Posepian talked about him. Maurice Leofau is going to be outside linebacker in this 3-4 defense. So you're going to see him come in there, and Maurice Leofau is a hitting machine. That's the one thing we know he can do. Maurice Leofau is going to be as an outside linebacker. I mean, he's going to pass rush sometimes, and sometimes he's going to go and hover or set the edge on the run. There's a lot of different options you have there for someone like Maurice Leofau in the Christian Parker defense, his 3-4 specific defense. Maurice Leofau is not an inside linebacker for the Cowboys. He's an outside linebacker. But who's the man with 68 months in the silver level here on My Cowboys Family? It is none other than the man, A. Lavelle, the oldest of the old school, the true blue ones here. What did the man say, Mr. A. Lavelle, with a $10 holler and a goal hit? We're 6 away from hitting the goal, guys. 6 away.
What's up, Mr. Lavelle? He said, "What's up, MCF and MCW? What's good, everyone in the chat?
Hope him and his family are doing great.
I hope everyone is safe and healthy." Yes. Been a minute for sure. Good to see the channel going and growing. Let's go, Cowboys.
Yeah, we had to take a little break, had some scheduling, situations. Had to but we're still trying to off season. We're gonna try to do a couple streams. every month at least and get out here once a week is our goal, but it's very hard with the new schedules. But I'll probably do a couple of these on my own when the wife is, not able to do it. So, do it as a team kind of deal. But we're always doing, we're always doing our game day live streams. You know that. So much love, A. Laval. I'm glad you and yours are doing well. I hope they are. I hope everyone's doing great. And really appreciate the man, the silver level man right there on MCF. Appreciate you, brother. So anyways, we got, and just so everybody knows, I know it says 2 there, but it's actually now 3, 4, 3 we had, right? So that's 4, 5. So we're actually 5 away, I think, from hitting that goal. If I'm not mistaken. No, I don't know. It's 6 away, I guess, from the goal. I don't know. Anyways, the point is we're almost at that goal, and appreciate you, A. Lavelle, everybody else who dropped the love today. Now, let me finish up here on the kind of scheme we got with Christian Parker going on here. Another kind of guy that Maurice Leo foul outside linebacker. What about cornerback spot? Savon Ravel Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Parker said just working out with him a little bit, kind of looking at his film. Big fan of what he can do. And hey, Ravel did a good job last year as a rookie. As a rookie, he was on coverage. He was doing a great job. He needs some, an off season now, kind of working out and also learning this scheme with Christian Parker at the same time. I think he's going to be one of those guys. Him, Leo Fowl at the outside linebacker. I think in this 3-4 defense, it will be an advantage for guys like Savon Ravel Jr., guys like Maurice Leo Fowl. When you need speed and you need a 3-4 defense, you got to cover a lot of ground. Marco Seppian hitting us up with another one. 4 away from hitting it, 5 or 4 away from hitting the goal. What did Mr. Marco Seppian say with that drop? 5 on it.
Well, he said, when are you and the family going to visit Hawaii? And how's that? Just to let you know, when I was in the hospital, I still watched you.
Oh, wow. Man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Well, first of all,
I hope you are doing
I'm glad to hear that it was when you were in the hospital, not when you currently are in the hospital.
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that you had some health stuff going on, Mr. Hosepian, but really glad that it sounds like you're back home on the mend and
working back to it, man.
Ready to keep kicking ass.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Mr. Hosepian. Hopefully,
it's funny.
Oh, well, that depends more on Dr. G, I think.
The thing is, Asha's great, by the way. She's her little fits herself there, but my brother, Dr. G, maybe taking a little trip over there and inviting like a family trip there to Hawaii. And it could be a year and a half or so, right? Something like that. Maybe next summer. If we hit Hawaii, brother, you will know it, and we will meet up and have a group, hang out and have a great time, bro.
That's why I said it's not really to us. It's more
but it's on the horizon. I'm gonna tell you, it's on the horizon. Another year and a half or so, brother. We might be out there. Or a year and less than a half.
Yes,
I don't know.
But trust me, that will come with lots of pre-planning and pre.
Yes. Oh, you'll know.
Warning.
You'll know. We'll send you a message on.
We'll hit you up directly.
Yeah, we'll send you on a message on Discord or whatever it takes to make sure you got it. Yeah, email, whatever way you want, brother. We appreciate you, and that coffee was awesome too. I'll have to pick up my own when we go over there. If hopefully, I'm hoping, knocking on wood, we get a chance to get hit to Hawaii for my brother and his family trip that he wants to take everybody on. So, anyways. Let's get back on this, man. Appreciate you, Mr. Mark Hovsepian. And the last thing I wanted to say, I talked about Christian Parker's 3-4 defense. I talked about Maurice Leo Fowl being an outside linebacker. Mm-hmm. 3-4 by nature is going to be our defense, but Savon Ravel Jr. is going to be a guy that Christian Parker is going to be working with. Remember, Christian Parker originally is a secondaries defensive backs coach. That's his specialty. So that he knows when he says that about a guy in the defensive backfield, he knows. He knows more than most. So I like that. Now, Ryan Schottenheimer, was looking for a teacher for defense, a teacher-type coach. And I think this is why Christian Parker is that teacher coach that Brian Schottenheimer was looking for as the Cowboys' next defensive coordinator.
Reminds me of Dan Quinn.
Well, here's the reason why. Quote, from Brian Schottenheimer on Christian Parker, quote, I think we hit a home run with this guy. If you can teach and motivate these guys and get them to know that you care about them, then these guys have shown that they will run through a brick wall for you. And I think that's what we're going to get. End quote. So again, it's all talk until we see it, but you get what I'm saying? It is, like you said, baby, a Dan Quinn kind of mindset. This guy's younger. He's kind of more in tune with the players, so it's more of even like a player's coach is going to still teach you right, teach you hard, but it's going to work.
Well, go back to
it's very positive.
Players,
yeah,
been Shoddy very high.
A-, one of the highest.
So that's, I mean, it's,
and remember,
speaks very highly.
And remember, Schottenheimer was here.
How shitty our season was.
Keep this in mind too. Schottenheimer was here 3 years ago. That was Dan Quinn. Was it? Was it Dan Quinn there?
Yeah, Quinn was with us.
I'm not sure.
Or that might have been the year right after he left.
I'm trying to think. He might have been right after we left. I'm just trying to think because I'm sure the players he heard as the offensive coordinator under McCarthy. If he was the offensive coordinator, under McCarthy, 2 years ago, right? So yeah, Quinn had left 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But he heard from the players they would run through a brick. Schottenheimer knows that they would run through a wall, brick wall for the right coach. He feels Christian Parker is that right coach. He's a younger, more hip. You can say Dan Quinn. You know what I'm saying? He's a teacher. He's going to explain it to you so you do not, and everyone's going to know everyone's spot in the field. So again, I think that this guy's proven it.
Very similar. It sounds like coaching styles and approaches to the game.
Yeah,
as far as like the way that they approach it from a coaching or a technical standpoint like that, even if obviously the core defensive principles are going to be different and they're obviously going to have their own flavor. But
and
we've seen our shitty defensive players respond very positively to a Dan Quinn like coach. So I said earlier,
you need the right coach, and maybe it's the right coach.
I'm more optimistic than I thought I would be.
Well, you can see, we learn a lot of things here in MCF. On my Cowboys family
before, but this obviously just like doubles down on that. So, and since we are getting to literally the last, this
is the combine. This is the end, guys. The draft, the little bit of draft talk I got.
But just wanted to take one last second to shout out the sponsor of the quarter, Mr. Burton. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We got D-Link bossing that stream around with 26 points.
26 points. That's attainable. If that's hit, that means if someone hits 27 or 26, that means we hit the goal for the night. And everybody is in the raffle that dropped the love. So,
and we're always staying skeptical for our Cash App.
There he is, skeptical fan. You know it. Skeptical fan is in the lead as well. The lead right now is Aussie on the overall board. No leader right now on the gifting board because no one gifted a membership yet. But we do have Pat Five. I mean, not Pat. Pat Five was our last in-stream gifted membership, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's not gifted. She actually jumped in the membership, I think Pat Pfeiffer did. But no gifting this month or this quarter so far. NBN Boogie was our last gifting champion. So just wanted to shout everybody out on that side of things. And again, we're basically 4 or 5 away from a $5, hitting that goal. So again, for that raffle that we do on the quarterly, right there, Star Level gets an entry over everything, gets 2 entries, and the sponsor of the quarter gets an entry as well. But everybody will get into this raffle that has their name on, that dropped $5 or more. You'll get your names on the board too in that raffle for the jersey, sewn and stitched. If we get 4 more drops, $5 or higher there, right? I think that's what it is. And it could be through Super Chat, it could be through Cash App, it could be through whatever. We'll count it for whatever. And Mr. Marco Sepian is taking everybody a step closer to the promised land. A 5 on it. That's what he say, baby.
Oh, he said, the good thing with having such a bad D is there is no doubt a safety, linebacker, corner, or defensive end will drop to us. So do you think that we'll get a second round guy for
Aubrey or Bass?
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't think anybody's going to pay Bass more than the $6 million and give up a second rounder for Bass. That's why I think the Cowboys are doing it. If someone's willing to do that, the Cowboys are saying bye-bye. It's a very small percentage that Bass is going to be gone for a second rounder and over $6 million as a backup, right? Has some starting qualities, but is he good for the whole year, right? So the Cowboys are willing to let him go. But I agree, as Scorpio, he is solid as a backup. He's fantastic. So it comes down to, is he worth $6 million and $6-7 million and a second round pick for Bass? That's a lot of people will say no to that.
The bigger factor there is what you said. We have so many needs on defense, no matter what.
Right.
Someone that we like
in the
that
draft
we weren't expecting very likely will fall to us in a position that, takes us by surprise.
And I'm gonna give you, it might not be a surprise.
I'm just saying, like, defensively speaking.
Well, maybe.
Who do you have in mind?
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to the kicker stuff that Marco Sepian is talking about, I think that's somebody we're going to retain somehow. Some way, somehow, we're not letting Brandon Aubrey go. I don't see it happening. But I see him getting paid And again, there's no tender on him, but I don't see him. I see him getting paid $7.5 million, and we'll call it a day. For a couple of years, like 3-year deal, something like that.
Yeah,
So
I don't think Aubrey's going anywhere
yeah,
personally.
and if he is, damn it, baby, another jersey in the trash.
Don't say.
I'm not. But listen, I do want to make a comment, kind of finishing up. We need what, 3 more hits on here? Finishing up, I wanted to go through the combine real quick. And again, I don't really care about the players right now too much because it could be anybody. I care about who the Cowboys are interested in. So the combine is, of course, at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, as it always is, the NFL Combine 2026. The Cowboys' big board of potential first-round targets, no doubt, leans where? Defense. Exactly what Mark said right there. So when I looked at some names that would be great for the Cowboys to pick up at that spot, and I'm looking at mainly linebacker, edge rushers. There's a guy named David Bailey. Not liked by a lot of the fans, but he's a guy that's an option as edge rusher. You got 2 linebackers, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. I think either of those guys could be fantastic. But you got a guy that get real lucky that slips down to you at 12, and that's Caleb Downs. Now, do you double down and trade that 20th pick and 12th pick for Caleb Downs and maybe a 4th rounder? That's a question. But Caleb Downs by far is the favorite if he gets to the Cowboys. He will be drafted by the Cowboys. Caleb Downs, he can play pretty much the Jalen Thompson position. Everywhere, safety, strong safety, free safety, cornerback, inside, basically helping at linebacker, helping with the stopping the run, helping coverage. The guy can do everything. So Caleb Downs is probably a top 10 pick. We're at 12. It doesn't look good. But I will say the other 3 guys that I just mentioned, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and the edge rusher there, the Cowboys spoke with all these guys. Let me explain to you guys who the Cowboys spoke with at the Combine. This is important. Because usually these formal meetings are the ones the Cowboys kind of start to key in on when it comes to the official meetings that they have, the 30 meetings with that they have to have. So Ohio State's outside linebacker Arvell Reese. Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles. Georgia linebacker C.J. Allen. Oklahoma linebacker Kendall Daniels. LSU linebacker Harold Perkins. Texas Tech linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. Missouri linebacker Josiah Trotter. Texas A&M linebacker Scooby Williams. Arkansas linebacker Xavier Sorey. Missouri linebacker Josiah Trotter. TCU linebacker Caleb Elarms Orr. Florida defensive tackle. One of the few defensive tackles, a couple defensive tackles. Caleb Banks from Florida. Florida State, Darrell Jackson Jr. Clemson defensive tackle Peter Woods. And Ole Miss defensive tackle Xavier Harris. And I'm sorry, there's a couple more. UCLA defensive tackle Gary Smith III. And South Carolina defensive tackle Nick Barrett. Finishing up with the edge rushers. Miami defensive edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. Texas A&M defensive edge rushers Cassius Howell and David Bailey. Auburn defensive edge rusher Kieran Crawford. Tennessee edge rusher Josh Josephs. And Penn State defensive edge rusher Danny Dennis Sutton. Those are the names of the guys that Cowboys spoke with during the Combine the last 5 days. The official talk. I mean, those are going to be the guys, but it means that they're interested. And what do you realize is not even on that list? Not even one offensive player. Literally all defensive players on the list. All of them. And again, not even a cornerback. It's outside linebackers, inside linebackers, defensive tackles, and defensive edge rushers.
Love it.
That's it. Those are the 4 spots we're going to hit. And it just seems like that's what they're telling us. They're projecting. Those 2 picks are going to be 2 out of those 4 spots. By the way, we got a drop there from Mr. Marco Sapien, giving us what? We're 2 away from hitting it. Is that it? 2 away? I got to count it, but I think we're 2 away or 3 away from hitting it, I guess. Because we had 16. 16 would get it on the stream boss, I guess. But I'm trying to make sure I'm fair across the board on this. So, anyways.
Big mahalo, by the way. I think Mark would appreciate knowing that the little doggy was sleeping here in the room.
She's having a dream.
Dreaming.
You might be able to hear her.
Yeah, she's like barking and making squeaking noises.
Let's see.
Oh my
Now
god.
she stopped. That's the start again.
Yeah,
Watch.
she'll start once you move back. Oh, but he said, "Why would we not re-sign Clark? That's clown show. All I heard that we wanted a run stuffer for the trade, and so we got a defensive tackle for 1 year and then release him."
Well, and that's the thing is that to me, if I have to pick between Quinton Williams, who's basically could be an inside guy like that as well, or a Frank Clark, yeah, I'm going Quinton Williams. He's much better overall, is a disruptive force. But Frank Clark is that big fat guy in the middle you need. So yeah, the Cowboy, I put both these guys on the team and you extend them for a couple of years. They're only hitting the cap for $15 million. And we need those two guys with Osa. That'll solidify Christian Parker's 3-4, down three linemen. The other four can be any of our four line. The other four linebackers can be a mix and match. All we need is two pass rushers and two run stoppers. You know what I'm saying? You know, and in the mix there, one of those got to be good in pass coverage. One of them got to be good at blitzing. We got that's four linebackers to play with on two spots. You don't have to even rush. You don't have to even blitz them. If it's 3rd and 17, you might not even bring anybody in. You might drop back all the linebackers in coverage and have a 3-man down, a 3-4 pure line. But you're going to start every game. Every play is going to be 3-4. And all of a sudden, you're going to see guys running up to the line of scrimmage, whether at linebacker, inside, or at the outside, standing there like a pass rusher, like Micah Parsons used to do. He used to stand at the line of scrimmage, kind of linebacker-ish, but really was edge rushing it.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to see in a 3-4. 3 down linemen, but the other four linebackers, 2 of them could possibly be blitzing like Micah from the outside, for example, just to get everybody a visual on that.
And the one thing I will say that Clark could just also be collateral damage, from Eberfluss's kind of regime scheme.
Well, but
in the
but a
sense
big
of
guy like him though is the key for a 3-4.
I agree. I'm just saying he's saying like why would we not sign him? I'm just saying like the only potential I could see where we don't is just he ends up being collateral damage in some way, whether it's again not a good scheme fit or other reasons or whatever it is. Obviously, I'm with you. Like I don't think it makes sense to move on from him, especially since like we just did all this work to bring him in the building, and you pointed out he fits right in. So
Mark not letting his Osa hate known here. Osa will be overrun, and that's the thing is that he may be too small for that defensive line. I agree.
For the $2 holler there, Mark.
The $2 drop there, so close to hitting it. I mean, we're gonna end. This thing's gonna end in about 5 minutes, so we got 5 minutes. And we need 14, I think, is what we need to hit the goal for the night. 14 total. 14, you know what I mean? No, I mean here, 14 on the D-Link.
Oh, on the stream boss.
For the stream boss, but basically it's like 13 to like get the goal hit.
Gotcha.
So I just said 14 to make it easier. So whoever drops a 14 will hit the goal, get a bunch of raffle entries to get it to maybe get into the big raffle, and will be automatically, obviously, the stream boss.
Yeah, it'll be quite the 2-for-1.
Twofer. But anyways, we're so close. The thing is this, is that the thing is this. You got to look at the cost. You could say that you said collateral damage, whether it's scheme, which it will not be scheme. Because when you have a guy like Frank Clark, you need him to play that nose tackle one tech in a 3-4. He's perfect for that. He's not as good. He's better for that than a 4-3, which is what he was playing in last year. But to me, it's more of, you can say, well, he costs too much money, Clark. It's going to be, he's 20 million, but he's going to be 15 or not. He's going to be $28 million. Is that worth paying Frank Clark $28 million or 25? But if you give him a short-term extension, you drop him to about $14-15 million this year on the cap. So if I believe he's the guy you keep here for a couple years, and he solidifies your 3-4 defense with Quinton Williams on the right side or left side. So yeah, I believe they could easily get Clark. When it comes to the money, you can say, well, that's too much money. The only thing I will fight back on the money thing is that the Cowboys are going to have around $131 million. $131 million, guys. Between $121 and $131 million on the cap open when it's all said and done. That's the money that the Cowboys can play with. If they can play with that money, then they can easily sign Frank Clark. Oh, any guy, Pickens, Aubrey, free agents that are good, well-known, solid guys that are not just some fucking bottom barrel, upside, good luck guy. No, he can actually do damage if the Cowboys go all in like normal people do. If you're going to go all in. We got Mr. Marco Sepien. Big shout outs to him as he clinches it for everybody. And everybody, anybody else who drops 5 is also automatically in the raffle, even in the last couple of minutes of this stream. So it's basically from here on out, it's just entry for the raffle is $5 or more for this show until it ends. That's why it's a last second thing. But huge shout out to the man, Marco Sepien, and appreciate you as always. Hey, yes, and we talked about the salary cap. I'm thinking when the new money deal hits, Mark.
Let me read his comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the bottom comment there.
I know, because that's why I'm like, you didn't even let me read his comment.
Well, I was just to say that the salary cap, we talked about it probably when the big money, when the TV deals hit in a couple of years, these players trying to get off their current contracts when the new TV deals hit. And so that money could be voided out in those years for the Cowboys, and it won't hurt as much. What did Marco Sepien say? I'm curious.
Said, there's your 14, and Clark's a must. We really need to draft well. Best available at any of those positions. Definitely extend.
So there you go. Extend. If you extend Williams and Clark, you get $30 million on the cap saved. And like you said, in 3 years, that cap is going way. It's gonna be it's at 303 million. It's gonna be at 400 plus in 3 or 4 years with those TV contracts. So yeah, you might not be able to get the good players at that moment. You might have a down year of free agency. We always have down years of free agency by choice, but you're gonna have them in the future for real. But you're going all in for the next couple of years. I mean, isn't the whole purpose is to win a Super Bowl? God damn, I don't know. It's gotta be. But shit.
Scorpio said that Mark's dropping more bombs than Iran. Figured you would appreciate it.
That was good. Man, you guys are awesome. Man. Oh, man. What a stream. I think I'm done. Let me just make sure. I think I'm done with everything. Yes. Guys, the draft, we'll talk more about the draft soon, but that's all defense is what I'm seeing. So I expect defense, and then maybe some free agent signings on offense.
So expect lots of D. Got it.
Big D.
Very D heavy.
Basically, we got to penetrate with our D.
Yeah.
So, man, we're going way too far on this. This is not after dark, baby. This is not after dark.
Apparently, the Cowboys need new D.
They got Christian Parker running the D.
Yeah.
In Big D. All right, we're done with the D. It's time to END for the show, guys. But, man, Marco Sepien, truly just thankful that you are okay, grateful that you are okay. And very happy that you are getting through your situation and are hopefully just getting better every day. And like us, repping that star for everything. Oh my God, what?
Reward your good health with something else to celebrate.
Yeah, because 30 years definitely gets anybody in bad health. I know I'm in bad health because of the Cowboys. So thank you.
Send any of us to the hospital.
Thank everybody, by the way, who made it happen here. It hit that top number there of 20. Drops of 5 or more for that goal. We usually don't hit it during a non-game. But you guys are awesome. It was a long stream. It was 2.5 hours, but I gotta say we got a lot of information out. We absorbed a lot of information from you guys. Cannot do this without your guys' love and support. So let me give the shout outs right now to D-Link, Skeptical Fan, Mark Hovsepian, who just tore it up, Harley Dad, and A. Lavelle. Shout outs to all you guys. You guys are getting at least one entry on this pre-raffle that we're going to do next time we go live. So shout outs to all you guys. D-Link gets 1. Looks like Mark gets a shitload. Harley Dad gets 2 and A. Lavelle gets 2. So we'll see. I think Skeptical Fan earned 1 as well when you add it all up. So shout outs to everybody. Thank you all. And honestly, love talking Cowboys. Love talking Cowboys, even though I know they're usually going to disappoint. 30 years of disappointment and Jerry Jones running this thing. I've never seen an 80-plus-year-old person fail so many times and still keep his job for 30 years. I've never seen it. It would never happen unless you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Marco Sepien said, hold up. Here's one more for you. Bam! What did the man say?
He said, thank you very much. I have a small D. Call me Turtle. Oh, I just wanted to see your face. He said, how often will y'all be on? Don't be a D. And oh, yes, happy heavenly birthday to my father.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That was today too.
Very
Man.
happy birthday to
Yes.
Papa Dukes Hovsepian.
Yeah. I understand. Trust me. So hey, listen, we'll be on often as we can be. I'd say give it a couple of weeks. I'd say the next one will be probably free agency, which is in about 2 weeks. So again, it just depends on schedules, and it might not be the exact first day of free agency. It might be the second day when we have a couple more deals going
Hey,
through.
if
But
it's
we
the
will.
first day of free agency, it means the Cowboys did some good
That means the
shit.
Cowboys have got someone big, and we're live, baby. You know it. So, and again, whatever happens between now and then, something could pop off. You never know. We can sign somebody. It could be a Max Crosby trade or something. Some kind of. You never know, right? So,
Yeah, with Jerry Jones running the show,
yeah, you can always
there's the potential for all sorts of things to
listen.
come popping through that glory hole.
Anything comes through that's any kind of news, we always post it on shorts, on the shorts videos that I post. So you will get the information that way, but we will discuss it on here as soon as we can, as soon as our schedules allow. So it could be a day or two after the news, but we will be here to discuss it with all of you. So we'll keep it rolling. And Mark, I know this is ninth place, but I have a feeling he's pretty close to first place right now. So I'll have to go double check that and rearrange the board. But I appreciate you all again here, dropping the love, giving the thumbs up, the support, the chat. Everybody, thank you all for repping that star with us. After dark style or prime time, doesn't matter. Appreciate you all. Old school, new school. Can't do it without you all. So, baby, let's get those final shout outs.
Yeah, of course. We have Scorpio in the house, Sea Bass representing. I really don't think Crosby is gonna happen.
I don't see it happening. If it happens, we'll be
It
live.
would be crazy as shit.
It would be interesting for sure. Yeah.
Captain America, what's up? Japanese, thanks for being here. He's saying
Yeah.
tampering starts on the 9th, right?
I think so. Yes. It's tampering. It's just you get a lot of deals done on the 9th. So on the start, 2 days before free agency, the new league year hits. Tampering is allowed, but you can't sign them until that new league year hits, right on the 11th. So yeah.
Oh, so you can't marry him, but you can propose. Scott Johnson, what's up? Thank you for being here as well. Even you, Trent.
Trent's awesome. Trent.
He said we're going full Aikman next show.
Trent's awesome. He's after dark style. He's a Cowboy fan from Australia,
Okay.
representing that worldwide.
Oh, gotcha there. Sorry, just the way that since that was like one of the only comments he made, I'm like, we try to take that. So, but thank you, Trent. Good to know you're one of us.
One of us.
Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Hovsepian.
Mark Hovsepian.
Phillox had to come by and say the Cowboys are the best.
You guys, After Dark people know. If you go to After Dark channel, you'll see the picture. By the way, I do want to say that was it Japanese that said that? Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. is when the new league year starts. Tampering is 2 days earlier, March 9th.
All right, you got it.
And you guys should remember that because the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th, Biggie Smalls. Anyways, go ahead.
All good. We have Mr. Ilavelle in the house, of course.
Baby. Is Brooklyn in
MCF
the house?
Senior said shalom.
Shalom, Dad.
Good to see the ghost of...
Yeah, rest in peace, Dad, but he's always around on these channels.
We have Dallas Cowboys R1 in the house as well.
Yeah,
love, thanks for being here. Skeptical fan, always.
Staying skeptical.
So, and by the way, he mentioned that apparently Dez is coming back to the Cowboys to kind of mentor the next generation of players.
Looking forward to that for the next stream for sure. That's going to be, is that skeptical?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thank you, by the way, for some of that info you just sent through, and some of you other guys on the Discord. Appreciate you all.
Well, Harley Dad, hello and hi.
Fuck the Niners, but Harley Dad's awesome.
Lorenzo Lee. Let me see, rolling back. I just want to make sure we got everybody here. I think that's everybody, at least on my end. So
that's everybody on mine. I think
too. Here.
Scorpio, Captain America, Sky Johnson.
Yep. So thank you again to everybody here, chilling, hanging with us. But baby,
why do we do this? Why don't you let us know why we do this each and every night here? We used to be doing it each and every night, but whenever we can do this, baby, on My Cowboys Family.
What we do when we do.
I want you to answer. Well, why do we do what we do, baby?
It's that navy blue.
Yeah.
That silver too. Yeah. And that star over everything.
Yeah. You know the deal, guys. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. And it's been ugly for 30 fucking years. For almost 10 years on YouTube, we're doing this thing. And we ain't stopping till we dropping, guys. So
Come on,
It's always,
Cowboys, show us a pretty
yeah,
face.
do something for us, all right? So no matter what, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we always rep that star over everything right here on this channel on YouTube. Almost in 9 years, almost 10 years of this thing, it's still nothing. 30 years of losing, but you know what? One day it's got to change. Hopefully it's this year, 2026. Let's make it 6. Guys, on that note, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever on My Cowboys Families. Say it with us, say it loud, and say it proud. Never forget. Go Cowboys! Hell yeah. Let's get that 6-26. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you guys for dropping that love from above. Marco Sepian putting us over the top. Hey Lavelle, Harley Dad, Skeptical Fan, D-Link. Thank you all. Can't do this without you all. And of course, as we get ready to clock out and drop out for the night, we've got to relock and reload for the next time we do this show in the near future. It could be a week. It could be 2. We'll see. But before we can drop out for the night, baby, and relock and reload for the next show, tell everybody what we got to do first.
We got to drop the beat.
Well, you know it. You guys forgot about that ending, didn't you? Yeah. We dropping that beat, and you guys helped us drop the news, info, and updates right here. You could be anywhere. You're here with us on My Cowboys Family, guys. Again, thank you. Can't do this without you all. And remember, rep that star no matter what over everything, even with all the crazy, even with the clown show. We'll see what happens with Pickens and that tag. We'll see what happens. He's holding out. We'll see what happens with Brandon Aubrey. Did he get signed? We got Javonte Williams is overshowing a guy that's on the radar getting signed on a injury deal soon. I don't know. A lot of things to figure out. The draft around the corner, free agency here. The combine just passed, and it keeps going. Kicking ass. Hopefully, number 6-26 for the Cowboys. But here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star. Always over everything. Never, ever forget. The number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. You guys making this thing go wild all the time. I don't care if we got 5, 10, 15, or 115. We appreciate you all. Thank you all for making this the way it is. Don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Make sure you hit subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell on to all videos. If you want, make sure you do that to MCF After Dark. If you want non-football news, some interesting talk, discussions, and overnight fun, that's another option. You might catch me out there once in a while. But on top of that, guys, don't forget, it's at My Cowboys Family at pretty much every social media situation. All the information is also in our description, so check that out. And I appreciate you all, whether it's Discord, social media, right here on YouTube, where we always stream from. Thank you all for doing it. And never, ever dare forget the Cowboys.
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.